just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
Wait a minute. I know you. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm sorry, son, but you must have me confused with someone else. My name is Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot.
You are Kareem. I've seen you play. My dad's got season tickets.
I think you should go back to your seat now, Joey. Right, Clarence?
Oh, he's not bothering anyone. Let him stay here.
All right, but just remember, my name is Roger Murdoch. I'm an airline pilot.
I think you're the greatest, but my dad says you don't work hard enough on defense. And he says that lots of times you don't even run down court. And that you don't really try, except during the playoffs.
The hell I don't.
Sure is quiet out there. Yeah, too quiet. I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Would you gentlemen care to order your dinners?
Bet, babe. Slide a piece of the porter. Drinks, I run the job.
Look at here. I can make grease and trumpet on some butter and drag him through the garden.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
USC band, everybody. There they are. The Marching Trojans. And stop. All right, it is the Ron and Fez show. I'm Ron. There's Fez, Mr. Perfect on the music today. You staying with your kind of football theme today, Mr. Perfect?
Of course, you have to do things, of course, to perfection.
It's the all right. Enough of that gimmick.
To perfection. Now he's getting gayer with it.
Yeah, he is. All right, 866 Ron 0 Fez 866 Ron Zero Fez. You know what they would call a gay version of the Ron and Fez show?
No, what?
Ron and Fez show. That's the problem with this show. It's why we can't get mass appeal, Fez. I hear from people all the time. Boy, you guys are funny, but a lot of knuckle draggers listen to the radio. I don't think it's going to work. Monday Night Football last night, big win for the Giants. Eastside Dave is happy. Pitts is happy. Although Pitsy is wearing the type of shirt that drives Eastside Dave crazy, and that's the team jersey, but the away version.
Oh, the white jersey that every team has.
Yes, the white jersey that every team has. Why do you hate that so much, Dave?
Because, Mr. B, if you're going to be a team, it's called, flying the Giants blue or flying the Eagles green, flying the Niners red. Don't wear the white jersey.
What about them for the away games? You don't want to be wearing the wrong jersey during an away game.
No, and very rarely do the Giants, I think, even wear the white ones. But irregardless, they're not
when they do, Pitsy's going to be ready and you will not be.
I don't believe in that. They don't call them the big white. They call them the big blue.
Here we are at a time of year, Fezzy. We got football in full swing. You got the series on. Hockey's gearing up. Basketball is gearing up. This is really the sports time of year, and there's nothing but arguments around here. Luckily, we have Mr. Perfect, who's taking care of the college season for us, but everything else is just up in the air right now. Ball game tonight, World Series tonight?
Tigers-Cardinals tonight at 8 p.m., and I believe they got their ace, Chris Carpenter, for the Cardinals going against, I believe, Nate Robertson.
You're pulling for the Tigers, though, right?
Actually, I'm going for the Cardinals.
You pulled back over. I love when you guys turn against your own league. That makes me happier than anything.
Going with the dog in the series because of that whole pine tar thing. That kind of turned me off a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
That bugs you? It doesn't even slightly annoy me.
Kenny Rogers is just... How does a guy who had one of the worst postseason records ever become the man of October all of a sudden?
It can happen. And let me tell you something, Kenny Rogers, he's amazed us with his musical career, his chicken, and now pitching for the Tigers. He is the triple threat. Lon, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Guys, what's up?
Yeah.
How about some love to the Buffalo Sabres, who on Thursday have a chance to tie the longest winning streak to start a season against your Islanders?
I will also go out and say they're not my Islanders, but, two, best of luck to Buffalo. They'll always do very well in the early seasons of everything. Best of luck to you, boys. We love the poor, hapless city of Buffalo, always dealing with something.
I'm sure Greg from Buffalo is right now on cloud 9, but waiting for that cloud to be deflated like a cartoon balloon that just kind of sails all around until it crashes.
I'm going to tell you something about Greg. They will never surprise him. They will never shock him. He is always ready for a Buffalo meltdown at any point of his life. All right, we've got, I guess Jeff Daniels is the big celeb pulling for the Tigers, and he is at the games. Anybody else, any of the old Motown people, like an Aretha or anything?
I think Smokey was like a big Tigers fan back in the day.
But Smokey must have been living in L.A. for the last 30 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, he relocated with the company like in 72.
So you need a real strong celeb backing. That's one thing I miss by the Yankees not being in, is you don't get to see celebrities taking seats away from regular people. And I don't think St. Louis has one celebrity backer, do they?
Not that I can really
Non-baseball.
Non-baseball? No, not at all. I mean, you'll see like Stan Musial at the game or something.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count when they bring old-timers. I like to see somebody who doesn't belong there at all, showing up, screaming, going crazy. Now, Lakers probably most famous for this with having Jack Nicholson.
Right, yeah. Jack Nicholson right there at courtside.
All-time best celeb sports fan? Anybody even come close to Jack Nicholson?
I would venture to say Woody Allen with the Knicks.
Woody Allen hasn't shown up with the Knicks in a lot of years, though. He was there when they were winning, but I don't see him there now. Jack Nicholson, like a regular fan, he's with him through thick and thin.
What about Spike Lee with the Knicks?
Spike Lee definitely is there with the Knicks. Why are you mad, Dave? He stole your Spike Lee?
I came running in.
Yeah, I would give Spike Lee a definite celebrity sports fan deal because he will fight with the other players. He'll be jawing. He's there through thick and thin. But he's not a bigger star as Jack Nicholson is. The Lakers do have a bigger star.
How about with some fresh blood, Matt Damon, who not only is a huge star and goes to so many Red Sox games, got to take batting practice and hit one out at Fenway. That's a great
I had no
celeb.
idea.
Yeah, that's a great celeb star, in my opinion.
Matt Damon belongs as part of that. The problem is, it's like no one noticed him until the Sox became good. Now, he might have been there since he was a little kid. Yeah, I'm going to give it to him. His only problem is he's probably a little too young.
Okay.
To have that long like I would put Diane Cannon, even though her career isn't as big, she's always there at the Lakers games, going crazy, thick and thin. Here is Steve. Steve, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I think the Cards fans are kind of calling the kettle black there. They had Mark McGwire on roids for friggin' years. I think they should go ahead and forfeit all their games under McGwire, and we'll just forfeit that one World Series game. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me. They'll forfeit every game that McGwire won from this year, and you forfeit that World Series game. All right, there you have it. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Surprisingly, now the Cards take a 2-0 lead based on that last caller. Here's Zippy. Zippy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
How about when Wayne Gretzky got traded to the L.A. Kings, suddenly every celeb in town was a hockey fan?
Yeah, they do. Celebs like a winner, though. That's the problem. Where if you take a real... And that's what happened with the Knicks. Where the hell are a lot of those fans now that the Knicks aren't winning?
I always think of, like, Seinfeld kind of seems like the Mets version of Woody Allen. He's not there during the mid-90s when they suck.
This also bugs me about Seinfeld. The Yankees are winning. He shows up in Yankee Stadium. Not only that, but he's wearing a Yankee hat.
Yeah.
You don't have to put the hat on. Show up at the game and like, hey, I got World Series tickets. I wouldn't have a problem for you whatever game you went to. But you put the hat on, you act like you backed the team.
I never forgave Billy Joel because he was always like, I'm a lifelong Yankee fan. 86 World Series. He's wearing a Met hat, Met jacket, singing the national anthem for the Mets.
I never forgave Billy Joel for that Uptown Girl thing. That's where that's my really big problem.
Tim Robbins does that, and I love him as an actor, but I'm very pissed off because in the late 90s he was Mr. Yankee, and then this year he's Mr. Met.
I had no idea that. I didn't see him.
Bullshit, Tim.
You know him on a first name basis. Not bad.
That's getting him.
Dan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, you got Stephen King on all the Boston games for baseball.
Yeah, Stephen King belongs there. He is a long-time Boston Red Sox guy. Boston actually has some pretty cool people who follow along. You got to give them that. But what about when J-Lo, a girl from the Bronx, showed up with her boyfriend, Ben Affleck, and she's fucking wearing a Red Sox cap?
That's what made them both despicable. And
that's when you start to hate them?
Yeah.
You will base things on people by basically what they do in their sports fandom.
How they treat their sports, I think, says so much about someone.
And you were so on the Bennifer bandwagon, too, before that.
Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Love your show.
Yeah, it's great.
Mr. Crystal, Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Diehard Yankee fan.
Is he, though? Because can anybody go back and remember that stupid fucking movie he did where he wore the Mets cap to the whole damn thing?
City Slickers.
Yeah,
City Slickers, yes. And City Slickers, too. So what are you doing with that on? I mean, first of all, it's not like, all right, you're playing somebody from San Diego, so you got to put on a Padres cap. He's playing somebody, he's from New York. You have the opportunity to push your team. Jason, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ashley Judd, University of Kentucky.
Ashley Judd, real deal. She is, matter of fact, I wouldn't mind changing her name to Holyfield, because that is how much of the real deal that she is. She shows up at all the games, and there's always rumors that she's fucked different players. I don't know whether they're true or not. I have a feeling that they're not, but she is a legitimate fan.
She has to be saluted because she's a grinder. She's not going to Los Angeles or New York.
Right.
She's going to fucking North Carolina for the Kentucky NC State game.
Right, and exactly, and going into somebody else's gym where, you know, they're yelling all kinds of shit at her about whatever bad movies she's done in the past. She deserves all the credit in the world.
And she's no March Madness honey pie. Like,
no, a lot of them are.
You'll be watching a game in late December where it means absolutely nothing, and there's Dick Vitale playing at Ashley Judd. You're like, what the hell?
And I think she always looks like $1 million.
Yeah, she's very attractive.
She ought to bring your friend in from yesterday, Earl.
Oh, Lily?
Yeah, they have the fucking spitting image of each other.
Hire her out to go to different games.
Scott, you're on Fez.
Hey, guys. How
Yeah.
about Tom Selleck for Detroit Tigers?
You know, I know he used to be on that bandwagon back in when they won in the 80s, right? What year did they win?
84.
84. He was all part of that. But I haven't seen him in the last 20 years.
Not since Magnum got canceled.
That's probably because he looked like Kirk Gibson. There's really no other reason for him.
Well, he's one of those guys who spends the rest of his life talking about, I had a tryout. As if fucking showing up for a tryout means that you almost made it. It meant you weren't ready for single A ball. That having a tryout, you've got to stop bragging about it. Tim, you're on Fez.
Yeah, I was thinking Eva Longoria with the Spurs.
Not
She's
anymore.
Such a big fan. She's banging. Oh, not anymore?
Yeah, I think those two broke up. So let's see.
There is rumor that they're back together. Rumor that they're trying to reconcile.
My point is this. She's not there for the game. She's there for cock.
Yeah. Big.
Where if Ashley Judd is getting some cock, it's an after-the-game thing. It's like anybody else would do. And I'm looking at you, Fez. Brian, you're on Fez.
Hey, buddy, DIC number 16.
What do you say, dude?
Hooah! Yeah. Oh, Dick Holder. Sorry, not the...
Face.
Yeah.
Face.
All right, during the NLCS, they showed Steven Tyler in the Cards stadium.
But the guy's from Boston. I'm sure he just showed up at a game. And again, I don't blame anybody for showing up at a game. But don't start fucking waving a pennant and acting like you've always been there with them. That's what bugs me. Actually, I don't even like people from any other town who start to wear the colors of a different city. You have to live in that city to wear those colors.
Otherwise, it looks like a costume party that you're going to. You've decided to dress up.
Now, I don't mind if anybody, let's say they grew up in Atlanta, moved to Chicago, and then they stay a Falcons fan. It's the team of your youth. That's what this is all about.
So, in other words, you're like anti-Doris Goodwin Kearns, who was from Brooklyn, and then she moved to Boston for Harvard, and now she claims to be a diehard Red Sox fan.
That's a tough thing. When you move, can you adopt a team? I believe there's got to be 5 to 10 years minimum. First of all, it should take you, if you're a real sports fan, it would be something has to happen for you to drop the team of your youth. Right. I can't drop those fucking Phillies, and I hate the shit out of them. I hate them to death, but I still can't go, oh, now I'm a Yankees fan. It just seems wrong to me.
I think it would take 20 years, because what it does is...
Wow, most people are going to live long enough to cheer for their new team.
It doesn't mean that you can't be there, watch the games. I mean, I'll watch any game at any time, but I can't act like I'm living and dying with these guys. That's wrong.
Like, if I'm a Yankees fan, if I moved to Los Angeles, the first couple years, I'd still be, into the Yankees. After 5 years, I'd be probably rooting for both Yankees and Dodgers. And then, towards year 10, I'd have cold blood for the Yankees. And at year 11, let's go blue. Let's go Dodgers.
All right, let's go in this direction now. What if you move to the new city and you immediately become a season ticket holder? Because it's not hard if you start watching a team to kind of live and die for them. I was down with the Marlins the year they won. Fez and I must have been at 25, 30 games that year. I'm pulling for them, because I'm watching these guys every day. But I could not go and put the fucking cap on. I couldn't start and fucking act like... I couldn't show up at their goddamn parade. I could not feel like... I love them all as individual guys from watching them a lot and watching their growth that year. But I would think that it would be wrong to suddenly act like I'm a fan of this team.
I think you're absolutely correct in your feelings.
Thank you very much.
Well, but the thing is...
That takes balls.
Wait a second.
To back me up, that takes a lot of balls.
No, but it's the way I would genuinely feel. If I moved to a different city, I would get season tickets if I could afford them, but to watch, like, the Yankees on the road. That's why I would get season tickets.
That's the only time you would.
Yeah.
You wouldn't show up at any other time.
If Bonds was in town, I'd show up.
You're going to show up for games. If you have the opportunity to go see a game, you should go see a game.
Well,
Are you saying you've never been to Shea?
I have been. I have.
And what do? Sit on your hands or you start fights?
No, but I root for the other team. Like a big asshole.
See, that is an asshole. I think it's best to sit on your hands when you're somewhere like that. Huge Unit, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hi, buddies.
Yeah.
How about what a big fan Huey Lewis has always been of the 49ers? He actually went to Hawaii to perform for them after one of their Super Bowl roasts.
Yeah.
And Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, and Dwight Clark, I believe it was, all sang on Hip to Be Square. They actually have singing credits on one of his albums.
Yeah, well, for that, they should fucking sue him for being stuck into that. Because, believe me, there's nothing hip about being square. 2, where is he now? Is he still with them?
Yeah, he's still out in that area.
Because, I give him, that is his hometown. He's a San Francisco guy, so I don't have a problem with that.
I always thought that Huey was from Chicago. I'm surprised to learn that.
No, he's a Bay Area guy.
That ruins my whole image. I thought he was a blue-collared...
What? There's no blue-collar in San Francisco? You ever hear of fucking Fisherman's Wharf?
They seem very prissy in that neighborhood.
There's some, but that's like saying New York isn't blue-collar at all. Because they have Woody Allen. It doesn't even make sense. Tony, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what about Giuliani at the Yankees game?
Now, here's what I like about Giuliani. He will wear a Yankees cap, thereby taking half the voters and pissing them off. You got to give him credit for that. Even if you're a Mets fan, the fact that he's not pulling a Hillary Clinton of, wherever I show up, I'll throw a fucking cap on and get a cheap pop from the locals.
And he threw that out there right away. I think when he was running for mayor, everyone knew where he stood on that issue.
Greg, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
You can always see former President Bush behind home plate at the Astros games.
I have seen him in a lot of ball games. And I guess he has a house down that way?
Yeah, they live in Houston. He drags the missus with him to those Astros games, too.
But during the summer, he's in New England. So he would only be getting Red Sox tickets. Those Bushes, they're one of those, they don't know where they live. They're all over the goddamn place.
I thought Bush went to school at Yale and even played first base for them.
What we're talking about is, he did.
Yeah. So I don't see why he would be into I know his son owned the Rangers, but...
No, but this is the Astros. This is a totally different thing.
Right.
He goes because he can get tickets. Now, Jimmy Carter, you would see at a lot of Braves games, but I think you used to see them more when he was, when they were winning. You know what I mean? When it was like the 80s, I think it was he and Ted Turner were there a lot.
Yeah, you saw him there more when the Ted Turner and Jane Fonda were still together, too.
Roger, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
What about Matthew McConaughey and the Texas Longhorns?
Matthew McConaughey kind of knew into that scene, but for whatever reason, he dominates it. The fact they let him on the sidelines, and he was in the team picture. That's just fucking, something's wrong there.
He is everywhere. If Texas plays on Saturday, you will see him on the field, in the huddle. He is all over the place, and just looks insane. I mean, he's not sitting there like Giuliani with a Yankees cap and an overcoat and a suit on. He has got his sleeves torn off. He looks like he's been through hell, and he looks like he played through the game.
Well, again, unlike Giuliani, he's not running for higher office. He's just showing up like anybody else. But how does he get on the sideline? There's got to be something wrong with that.
Celeb power. You got to get on the sideline. Man.
I don't see that at pro games.
No, you're right.
It just doesn't happen.
Only
I don't know another guy. Yeah, exactly. An ex-player belongs on the sideline. Some fucking guy who's made bad movies, yes, he can go to every game he wants. What's he doing in the team picture? What is he doing holding the fucking trophy as if he pulled this off?
Was MC Hammer on the sidelines of the Falcons?
Oh, he might have been.
When Deion played?
But see, this is what happened. Deion used to have a lot of record people on the sidelines. I knew DJs that worked at hip-hop stations. Remember when Deion had his thing out? He would fucking fly them in, put them on the sidelines, and suddenly everyone's playing that shitty song of his and acting like it's great.
Too legit to quit. Imagine like if Billy Crystal was in the dugout with the Yankees.
See,
how weird that would look.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. Billy Crystal. Here is Scott. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what about Fez Wally, Tampa Bay Bucks? Freaking sellout.
You really did sell out them, Fez. And now look at them, they're on a winning streak.
Yes, I've sacrificed so they can win. I have stayed away from watching the games, and now it's a 2-game winning streak for the Bucks.
Kurt, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, buddy.
Excuse me. I used to be a diehard Cowboys fan from as far back as I can remember, and I'm also a Florida Gators fan. So when Emmitt Smith went to Dallas, it made my life wonderful. Jerry Jones, when he went and said that he's going to do everything to make
First of all, where are you from, Kurt?
Florida.
All right, so you're Florida, but somehow you become a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Well, I moved out to Houston when I was a kid, and I had two choices, either Houston or,
No, you have one choice.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You have the local team. So I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say you need to pick one of the Florida teams, or you pick Houston. But you don't go, I want the best team in the state. And there are so many people who will jump on a bandwagon. So many people who, as a team is taking off, will start and wear the colors.
Oh, I'm sure Chicago's got a lot of those type of people.
What I hate is now those people that went... And here's another thing I hate. My dad was born in Chicago, so no, fuck you. It's where you were born. You don't get to adopt your dad's team.
How many people adopted the Cubs when they went on that run in, 2003?
Exactly.
Bernie Mac.
I mean, everybody, even in New York, you saw a lot of Cubs hats, the Cubs colors, and in the second they shit the bed in that playoff series,
they were gone.
They were gone like the wind.
Yeah, they were gone. Denise, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, I have a question for you. I went to the University of Connecticut, obviously a pretty good basketball program. You might have heard of them.
Yes, I have.
I love them. So whenever a guy's drafted in the NBA, I kind of follow their careers and kind of root for them. Is that okay?
I believe, yes. I think we can all appreciate players.
Right, but does she have a pro team? Do you have a pro NBA team?
The Knicks. They suck.
So you can't root for your favorite UConn's player against the Knicks. Otherwise, you're a traitor.
No, how can you say
But you
that?
can sit there happily. You can sit there happily at a Knicks game as he scores, but I don't think you can voice it.
Right, but
if your brother was playing for the Cavaliers,
exactly.
If suddenly the Cavaliers are letting they want to start swishing, if you know what I'm talking about, with your brother, you would not root for him against the Knicks.
I would root for him to have a good game, Mr. B, but I would root for the Knicks to beat the Cavs.
Now that's all you're doing, right, Denise?
Well, I guess so.
No, you've got to tell Dave. Are you rooting for somebody against the Knicks? A team against the Knicks?
How can you not root for a Ray Allen against the Knicks when Travis Knight used to be a Knick and Travis Knight sucked?
So you're rooting for your favorite team to lose?
Yes, that doesn't make sense.
But Ray is better than Travis.
Priorities.
But I will.
Team.
Yeah, you've got to go team.
Go watch tennis.
I don't mind anybody cheering for their favorite player, but not against your team. And that does, because they're playing on that team, that doesn't become your team. And most of that rooting has to happen inside. Don't voice it. And certainly don't go and buy the shirts. That is embarrassment. Now, I did see people do this at Yankee Stadium. When Pedro pitched against the Yankees, the Dominicans were all cheering against the Yankees. Dominicans that lived in the Bronx.
Yeah, it becomes a total Latino paradise in Yankee Stadium, and they have the flags and everything. And I thought, what bullshit that was! Like if Mark McGuire, who's Irish, came into Yankee Stadium, I'm not going to have a fucking Irish flag going nuts and all that nonsense. It's terrible.
You're right again, Jelly Dick. You came up with something. You can't fight. You can't root against your own team based on ethnic background.
Otherwise, be a golf fan. There's no harm in rooting for individual teams, but if you're a team person, you got to root for your team.
All right, that sets itself for me, too. What would be the fantasy for you? You get to experience one or the other. You score a touchdown in the Super Bowl or hit a home run in the World Series.
I'm hitting a home run in the World Series.
Home run in the World Series.
Fezzi?
Touchdown in a Super Bowl.
I'm going to go home run. It's the individual thing. It's the traditional thing. No one remembers who scored what touchdown. And then it also very rarely belongs just to you. Some key block took place or, a pass happened to be right there. But the fucking home run, that's yours. And I'm going to make it a walk-off home run as I do on my fantasy right before I go to sleep.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you got Bill Mazeroski, everyone knows, you got Joe Carter, go down the line.
None of those are ever forgotten about.
And I really have a hard time. I mean, I remember my stupid Phil McConkey touchdown as a Giants fan, but I know that nationally people don't remember that shit.
No, not going to happen that way. No one is going to remember all those.
And as you're rounding the bases, everyone is looking at
Time
it.
has stopped.
Time stopped.
Time has stopped.
And what's harder to do? What is actually harder to do? To hit a 95-mile-an-hour baseball 400 feet or to catch a ball from Joe Montana in the end zone?
That is true. Where the blocking has to be. I mean, the only person that has any pressure and all the eyes on him is the fucking kicker. And who gives a shit about that anyway? It's still the worst play in fucking professional sports. We'll let the blowhard deal with this. Blowhard, how are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. Getting back to the celebrity
Wait,
fan.
first, before we get back, dinger in the World Series or touchdown in the Super Bowl?
It's got to be a dinger in the World Series, and it has to be at Yankee Stadium.
It's got to be there, right?
Wow.
Well, that's where
Nowhere
most
else.
of them are played anyway, so until,
Exactly.
this decade, thank God.
Well, they dominated, and they'll still be in the playoffs for every year of our lives.
You're the reason why people love the Yankees so much. It's fans like you. Why we all cheer for you.
That's not fair, because I jumped on the bandwagon when I was a kid, and the Yankees were one of the worst teams in baseball. From 65 to 75, they were zeros. They were horrible. And that's when I got into the Yankees. So
Pretty
I'm not
much like this decade.
Excuse me?
All right, what else? What were you saying going back the other
All right,
way?
I was going to talk about a famous celebrity that was a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
William Frawley, a.k.a. Fred Mertz. He had it written in his I Love Lucy contract that if the Yankees were in the World Series, they would stop filming, and he had the right to go to New York and watch the Yankees play.
Is that right? Nicholson has the same thing with Laker games. He has to be off at a certain time. And I saw a thing with Woody Allen where he said when he was shooting in New York, and if he thought he didn't have the perfect shot, but he had Knicks tickets, he would just go, well, that's good enough for the movies. And go to the Knicks game, and he goes, he did not even think of it as a problem. He did not take it as if it was the wrong thing to do. He felt like I got the best shot I could and still saw the Knicks game. So
that explains Deconstructing Harry, the entire film.
Wait a minute, I love that fucking film, you
No
prick.
way. No.
I love that film. I can't protect a lot of his later stuff. All right, so all time you're picking Fred Mertz.
Well, another great fan of the New York football Giants, he's always there for years since Yankee Stadium, is Andy Rooney. I've met him at the concession stands over on Giant Stadium, and Andy Rooney's there, rain, snow.
I had no idea of Andy Rooney.
Always in Giant Stadium. Season ticket holder, I guess.
Now, how does he see the game with that fucking build of his? Because he basically looks like a question mark. We used to work with him down at CBS, and he'd always be looking at his shoes wherever he was going. He would probably have to lay down and stick his head up.
And how crazy is Jerry Seinfeld? He calls into Sports Talk Radio in New York.
How crazy is that? I mean, who wouldn't?
He
That's
calls
his
into
team.
WFAN
But-
as Jerry from Queens, and he calls a guy named Steve Summers once in a while.
Yeah, but my problem is this. Why sometimes he become a Mets fan?
Well, he's just playing both sides. But he's a diehard Met fan. He's a nice Jewish boy from Queens.
I see him every time, and he doesn't show up until the Yankees are in the World Series. You know this is true, Earl. You never see him there in July.
Yeah, you see those big teeth, that big tooth smile in October when they do the celebrity shots. And,
All right, thanks a
in the
lot,
World
Blowhard.
Series.
You know who also calls AM Sports is Chaz Palminteri.
Is that right?
Yeah, he does that all the time.
What's he a fan of?
He's a huge Yankees fan, Bronx Tale and everything like that. And he is a genuine guy. You can tell, because Chaz Palmer, anyone who knows the bullpen is a fan. Jerry Seinfeld never talks about anyone but, maybe Reyes or Wright. But Chaz Palminteri is knowing all these middle relievers.
Well, I was listening to WFAN the other day, talking hockey, and this is the call that came in.
Did anybody tell you that it's John Mayer calling?
So there you go. I mean, he is a gigantic Rangers fan. Here's Pat. Pat, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the scenario. I live in Virginia, grew up a Redskins fan. Then the Ravens came to town, but Washington doesn't even play in Washington. They play in Maryland. One's AFC, one's NFC. Can I root for both teams?
Absolutely not. Pick a team, my friend. You don't see Earl going, oh, my favorite National League team is. No, that's bullshit. You're not a fan at all. You're just a guy who enjoys watching football. Nothing wrong with that. But do not wear the colors.
You can't have a sail face. I said that wrong.
I have no idea.
Fail safe. Sail face.
Why would you want to? I wanted to watch him wrestle his way out of it. I had no idea what he was talking about.
Then I couldn't remember. You can't have a backup team in case your team is going horribly wrong.
You can't be a fucking sailface walking around like this.
Well, wait a second. I semi-identify. I am a diehard Yankees fan, but I grew up. Wait a second.
Here comes the sailface.
Right in between Philly and New York, in a small town in New Jersey. So the Phillies were really kind of like my second favorite team. Plus, they always played the Mets, the team that I hated. So
Let me ask you this: you ever wear any Phillies gear?
I had a Phillies helmet as a very small child.
You're not a Yankees fan, Earl. Remove his colors. I want him branded.
As a small child, my parents bought it for me.
Nope. I'm sorry, my friend. You live your life like a coward. Now you're branded as a Phillies fan.
That's bullshit.
That's right. You have one championship now, 1980.
Von Hayes, baby.
Von Hayes.
Juan Samuel.
This is you. Give me your fucking Yankees gloves, the wrist guard.
That's bullshit. Fine.
Give me your socks. You're not a Yankees fan at all. Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, the first celebrity I ever remember seeing on the sidelines was David Keith from Officer and a Gentleman, the guy that swallowed the ring and hung himself.
Yeah, but here's the point. Celebrity. I mean, right now he's on that Class show on CBS. Mikey G, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, man? Diehard Orioles fan here, regardless.
Okay, fine, thank you. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Cindy, you're on Ron and Fez.
I just wanted to know, what am I supposed to do if I'm from New Jersey? We don't have a baseball team, so I root for the Sox. So what am I supposed to do?
Sox?
When you're from New Jersey, you got to do what Dave does. If you're from South Jersey, you're a Phillies fan. If you're from North Jersey, you get your choice between the Yankees or the Mets. You don't get to leap way over and pick Boston as your team.
It's all about longitude and latitude.
Thank you.
It's all about geography.
How many states over are you allowed to go? Like if you're in a North Dakota or something.
I would pick the local games. You're going to get some local team. You're probably going to get either Seattle. A lot of those people up there are a long-time Minnesota fans because that's the closest to them. Look at you, Fez. You grew up, 600 miles from a baseball stadium and about 300 miles from a football stadium. Yeah, and a lot of people in Florida became Atlanta Braves fans. Now, when Florida got their baseball teams, you have two things you can do. Stay with your Atlanta Braves, or you take that Braves hat off forever and you move in with your new franchise. That's the only thing you get to do.
Yeah, some of the Tampa Bay fans are suspect because they all became Bucks fans when they won the World Series. But
I'm working with one. Believe me.
I don't see a lot of Devil Ray hats. Is all I'm saying.
Exactly. And here's the other thing: those fuckers. There was as many Dolphins fans in Tampa, at least, as there were Bucks fans. Every game was always shown. Yeah. Pretty much like you get Jets and Giants here, they would do the same thing with the Dolphins and the Bucks. So I could understand people that were Dolphin fans. But when they leaped over, like when Watley did, in about 2000, he made his move. That bugged me.
I leaped in 76 when the Bucks came into the league.
Can I tell you something, Mr. Bandwagon? I see you with a lightning thing right now.
Lightning tattoo.
And that's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, when they won the Stanley Cup.
Who's the goalie? Who was the goalie that year? Name me any player.
It was a Russian name?
Any coach.
I'm kind of stumped at the moment.
And yet you're wearing the tattoo.
You can go with Javier Bullen was the goalie, and St. Louis was on the team. And I don't even like the team.
Give him that tattoo.
I can't. I'd have to cut it out of my arm.
That's what I need you to do. You've been branded. We are going to slice that out of your arm. Chuck, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, you guys are saying that I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, but you guys saying since we had the Cardinals move into Phoenix that I should become a Cardinals fan? They haven't done crap since they've gotten there.
All right, let me tell you something, Drunkie. How did you jump to be with the Cowboys in the first place? Because they were America's team and they were winning?
No, because every year they used to play a preseason game in Phoenix.
I didn't even know that. And how close is that your closest team to Phoenix besides the Cards?
For the NFC, yeah.
But there's a closer AFC team. Yeah, no one. You don't get to choose your league. You get to choose your closest team. Now, I don't mind anybody who does anything, tell you the truth. But I want you to know, I'll expose you for bandwagon jumping.
All right. I ain't going to be a part of it. I'm telling you.
What are you talking about, jellyfuck? You always tell us that you're a Yankees fan. Then you tell me that you walk around with a goddamn Phillies helmet on.
What I'm trying to do is be honest with you. It was bought for me when I was like 5 or 6, and that's all. And my family did used to live in Pennsylvania, where when my brother Mark was from. When they crossed the river, I'll be honest, in the Revolutionary War.
That's Valley Forge?
Yeah, like right by Valley Forge.
All right.
He only knows states. He never knows a city. The wedding's in Delaware. My brother was born in Pennsylvania. He doesn't know.
Who knows?
That's obscure, but it's true. What are you saying?
It's as small as he can get as a state. I'm surprised everything with you just isn't America.
My only disagreement, Fez, is I have a lot more things to hate him for besides that. Before I got down to the fact that he only knows states, I already hate him before then.
Who knows towns in Delaware? I mean, that's the point.
Who doesn't? You're going somewhere, right?
Yes.
You can't just drive into a state and expect to be there. You have to know where you're going.
I take directions.
He's trying to get off of work on Friday. I say we need him. I say you got to work here Friday.
We totally need him. You can't take Friday off.
Who's replacing you that day?
I had given Earl the slip, and I believe Pitts and Bronx Johnny will be doing a double tandem.
Those idiots?
They're going to be.
Earl, you gave him the A-OK on this?
Well, DC gave him the A-OK.
Look at him. I asked him first.
Pontius Douglas.
Do you need me? And this was honestly, Ron, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
What's the name of this show?
The Ron Fez Show.
Why wouldn't you bring this up to Ron or Fez?
Well, fright, usually. But, I mean, I thought...
You're afraid to ask us for the day off.
But I told Earl weeks ago, and I said, now remember, I'm going to be taking this day off.
Yesterday, when he brings it up and I tell him, no, he can't have the day off, he's looking at Earl with the big, screaming inside, waiting for Earl to go, yeah, Ron, it's my decision. Earl just sat there stone-faced and let him sweat bullets.
Thanks a lot, Earl. Thanks for keeping me under the spotlight.
He didn't even say yes. He did ask for this a month ago.
Lemon, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey, buddy. What about people that live in Mississippi and have no pro sports teams or anything like that? Who do we work with?
You have no TV anyway, so you're fine. No, I think if you live in Mississippi, you're going to pick teams that are closest to you. North part, you're going to pick whatever Memphis team is around. In the South, you're going to pick the New Orleans teams.
Yeah, because we got New Orleans. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Earl.
That's
it's
plenty.
Over after this week. It's over.
It's over.
Earl's streak as Mr. Perfect is over.
Don't try to jinx him, old miss. Don't bring your old mix voodoo around here on Mr. Perfect.
Nothing will phase my perfection.
Have you come close to anything yet, Earl, for what you deciding this weekend?
No, I haven't really broken any games down yet, and no point spreads because they change.
No hurry, huh, big man?
No, because sometimes the spreads will change, as the week progresses. So I want to get the closest line as possible.
Fez, our friend KOP, is going to be involved with the Spooky Movie Film Festival in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh, he doesn't even have to dress up
this weekend. I wonder, is this at Cinema Arts? Which is that great little theater that has all the indie films?
I don't know where this is at.
Cinema Arts is exactly where it is. So if you're in that area, you want to have some fun with some spooky movies, it's the Spooky Movie Film Festival. KOP is doing something with it. I like to see his documentary play there.
Talking about scary.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
And it's political.
I love a good horror film.
Why don't you go? You'll be in Delaware. You're not going to be that far away.
I might.
As a matter of fact, he just sent me this one. It's low budget. It's called The Slaughter.
Yeah.
I want you to take it home and watch it first.
Okay.
Beautiful. And tell me what you think of it.
Looks it looks like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. Let me know the pricing on eBay. What I should put up at. Josh, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Yeah.
Got a little question for you, just to reiterate the sports questions. All right, hypothetically, let's just say you're a Yankees fan growing up. You know what I mean? You play some ball in college, you get picked up by the Devil Rays. Now, do you root for the Yankees or do you root for the Devil Rays because you're on the team? And what does your family do? Go Yanks.
First of all, family, I think blood defeats everything, particularly anything first cousin in. First cousin in, they need to back you up because there's money coming your way. The fucking most you could do is sit down and root for that fucking team. But I think you still have your childhood team. I'm sure a lot of guys are going, I cannot believe I'm playing the Oakland Raiders. You know what I mean? Now, it doesn't mean that you try to give up, but, you know, I think that that's still kind of your team.
Well, I do have a cousin who's in the Royals franchise, and I'm not going to root for that.
First cousin?
And he's my dad's nephew, his son.
Yeah, it's nothing to you.
That's like
your dad's nephew's son?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucking nothing to you. You're allowed to marry that kid. That's how fucking far away it is.
He's at least a second cousin.
Yeah,
no?
Second cousin is nothing.
Well, it's pretty. I mean, it's my dad's nephew.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
You meet him all the time?
Yeah.
Like you have to be reintroduced?
In fact, you know, maybe he has great baseball skills, but his wiffle ball skills at family functions are not as good as you would think they are. I'm still the man whenever we play.
Here's George. George, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Hey, I live in Cleveland and have my whole life. I'm 36 years old. How long do I have to suffer with the Browns before I pick somebody else in the NFL?
No, you do not. You either move, and in 20 years, welcome yourself to a brand new franchise. But if you're a Browns fan, come on, that is a great old franchise. You should be very, very proud to be a Browns fan.
He should have went to Baltimore. He had the chance.
You could have moved to Baltimore.
I can't listen anymore.
Yeah. But your problem is this, George.
Yeah.
If you want out, you got to move yourself. Don't sit there and start flying a goddamn Seahawks flag so that your neighbors have to see it.
That's the problem. If he tries to move to another franchise, he starts cheering for another team, he's going to pick someone that's hot now.
But you cannot pick outside your city limits anyway. If anything, we're allowing people who move, that obviously their children are going to be welcome into that franchise, but you yourself have to suffer now maybe up to 20 years. I was going to make it 5 to 10. 5 to 10 before you can put the hat on. Charlie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, fellas, I got a couple questions. First off, born and raised in Southern California, and I've been brainwashed ever since a kid to be a Bears and Cubs fan. We don't have a NFL team in the L.A. area, so I've been rooting for the Bears ever since I was a kid. What's wrong with that?
You need to sleep in, my friend. You come from the most shameful part of the country that there is. You actually...
You know what? It's a beautiful 75 degrees all day long where I'm at, brother.
That's right. Enjoy it, but you don't have a pro football team unless you really want to count USC, and I would. I would count them since they all make pretty decent money. Yeah. Leinart actually said he took a cut in pay to go to Phoenix. How the fuck did that happen? He goes, I'm trying to live on this money now.
Yeah, if you're in Los Angeles and your franchise moves to St. Louis, you're not obligated at all to keep cheering for the Rams, right? And once they move.
You got nothing, though.
They moved on you.
Right, but now you got nothing.
Yeah, now you've got Phoenix.
See, I think
as your local.
I don't know.
Or maybe San Diego.
San Diego. But I think if I was in those shoes, I would root for St. Louis.
No, not me. Once a team says fuck you to you, no, you can't. That's why I love the city of Cleveland. Because they held on to the name, they hated, and they went and got another team for themselves.
But it's really more the owner, not the team. I mean, I look at owners as despicable people in general.
I do too.
Because I love the Yankees. But
I don't know why we live in a thing where we let these fuckers move.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do. I don't see it as free enterprise at all. The feelings of one whole region against one billionaire, fuck him. Sell the team. Sell the team to somebody.
In the Ken Burns documentary, Rockumentary Baseball, they had a priest saying in some areas the baseball stadium is more important than a church. That's a priest talking, and it's not because he's trying to...
I don't even think it comes close.
Blasphemy. Well, it's because it brings together feelings of community.
Right.
So
except for in a dome, which I don't believe it does. I don't think you get that same feeling, no offense to you, Fez, I don't think you get that same feeling in a dome. And I definitely don't think you get it in football. Maybe you can get it in basketball, where you have that feeling of togetherness. Football, it almost brings out the bad in the community.
Football in a dome, it's almost like you're not willing to suffer along with the team. They're out there on the gridiron pounding it out.
What does that mean? I mean, they're no longer, that's not a gridiron anymore when you're inside the dome. Minnesota used to be the toughest fans, the toughest teams. They lost all that. I see it making the team look just as pussy when you're playing on carpet.
Yeah, it's if you're not willing to withstand the elements.
But I'm talking about in baseball, Fez, I don't think you get that same feeling of beauty. I'll go over to Earl here, because you've got an artistic eye. But you don't get that same feeling that I can walk in any baseball stadium and get a certain feeling. But I'm not going to get that in a dome.
There's certain moments in a game where you find yourself like shaking the hands of somebody you don't know, hugging somebody you don't know, high-fiving people, and that's during the game. And before the game, everyone's like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, first time at the game, blah blah blah. It's a lot of casual conversation. You're really getting to meet and know one another.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the dome thing that it takes everything away.
Now that I think about it, has a dome team even won a championship? I'm not even sure if an NFL or a Major League Baseball dome team.
Twins?
Okay. Twins, okay.
Yeah.
But how about NFL?
St. Louis.
St. Louis Cards, yeah. So what are you why, where are you going?
Yeah,
Come back here.
I had something.
No, you're stupid.
I wrote down my stupid piece of paper, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, Oilers, and I'm like, there's never been an NFL.
You know what? Give me that movie back. You don't deserve it. Barney, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
I live in Montana. I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan. But who do you choose when you live in a state that doesn't have a professional team?
You're in Montana. You should really root for a job transfer. That's the first thing I would cheer. I would cheer for that or spring. That's the two things that I would root for.
Root for the 49ers just because of Joe Montana.
Here's what you can do, Barney. Root for whoever you want because no one's going to hear you. You're in fucking Montana. You could be out there blasting off a fucking shotgun. No one's going to come.
If a fan roots in Montana and there's no one there to hear him.
I'm willing to give Montana special dispensation, and they can root for the Super Bowl winner starting in the third quarter because it's so damn cold.
He may have to pick a CFL team, someone from the Canadian League.
Maybe you're a Rough Rider fan. You got two choices there.
How about the Regina Rough Riders?
There you go. Talk to you later, my friend.
Right.
Poor bastard.
I'd go with the Argonauts.
Yeah.
That's a franchise for you.
Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a problem this season. I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, always have been. I'm Irish. But I go to Rutgers. Is it all right for me to root for Rutgers this year?
No.
I go to the school, though.
No, obviously you can root for Rutgers.
He was so upset.
You go ahead and root away, all right, brother?
I'll tell you what, even now, you know how faithful I am to the blue and gold, but I've been rooting for Rutgers, too, because I got to root for Jersey, and I feel like it's not just pros that you root for your locations, it's college, too.
Yes, but you're not doing that any other year. You're doing it this year because they're good. That's what makes you bullshit.
Well, I root for them at they had a bowl game last year. I think it was the Hawaii Bowl.
You're a shit fan.
I mean, if it doesn't here's my point. If it doesn't conflict, if Rutgers goes against Notre Dame, I'm rooting for Notre Dame. But if Rutgers is playing Pittsburgh, why shouldn't I root for RU?
You can root, but you can't wear the hat. You can't wear the fucking jersey. You fucked that over. All right, now let me check with you here, since you bring up college. I was forced into Notre Dame from the fucking parish priest who told me that Notre Dame was the parish team when I was a little kid. I honestly thought Notre Dame was somewhere around my neighborhood growing up because this prick would bring it up every Sunday. So you can understand why Catholics, particularly Irish Catholics, root for Notre Dame. How's Fez Watley, a Newfie Lutheran? How do you put up with that every single week? And he wears the colors.
I've debated it a lot, but I think his story checks out, where he says he has friends who are Catholic and who love Notre Dame.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's your story, Fez?
Yeah, the people I grew up with cheered for
What
Notre Dame.
age did that happen?
That was just out of high school.
Now, what the fuck? You haven't picked a team when you got the Gators, the Knowles, and the Canes? You don't pick a team till you're 19? That ain't growing up.
I thought you were 6. I didn't know you were that old.
I never cheered for any of the Florida teams.
I can't believe you let this happen to you, Dave.
I feel like...
And you're taking him in that Irish bar.
Yeah.
How come you guys never do that anymore?
Well, no, we just a weird coincidence of things haven't been on the right schedule, the same page.
Well, let's do it definitely this Saturday.
I can't. In Delaware.
You know, there's an Irish bar right near my house. It's wide open. Big screens, too. And it doesn't get as packed out as you bastards are always worrying about.
That would be nice for a change.
I'm in Delaware this Saturday, so...
Where? Where exactly?
I'm going to need you this Saturday as well for the Navy game against Notre Dame. Speaking of Notre Dame and fans, how about that move last year in the Fiesta Bowl? Brady Quinn, the Notre Dame quarterback's sister, is dating, I think, a linebacker for Ohio State. She shows up in the stands with a jersey that's half a Notre Dame jersey, half an Ohio State jersey.
She's a girl. Who gives a fuck? Do you honestly pay attention to anything women do? One, Ashley Judd is the only sports fan that has a vagina that I know of.
But I have seen those jerseys, especially Yankees-Mets.
You know who else? What's her name's mom? Tiki's mom does the same thing with Rondé and Tiki. And they're twins. You can't blame that crazy old lady. They're both giving her food, money.
Fine, they have children, but I've seen grown men during the Subway Series every year during June wear the split Yankees-Mets jersey.
Somebody got to whip that ass then.
Yeah.
Someone needs to whip that ass.
The president...
I don't mind the girlfriend saying I have a brother. Whatever. She's trying to fucking pull attention to herself. Why don't you do this? Wear basic black and nobody sees you. No one knows whose sister or girlfriend is out there. Stop pulling attention to yourself.
The president should have to pick a side during Army-Navy and not change at halftime.
Well, I think if he has the background in that, then you know that's who he's rooting for. Like, you know that Kennedy used to pull for Navy. Jimmy Carter used to pull for Navy. And then Reagan always cheered for guys who made films while other guys went to war. He would make a lot of films about trench mouth. That's how he served. Do you know that's what he did during the war?
No, I had no idea.
He made those things about those little films that they would show the guys on the ship of be careful of the local girls and here's how you put on a condom.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was an actor in one of those?
He was an actor and did voiceover and hosted it, and that was the way he served. Rich, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm from Tampa Bay, and yeah, we have the Devil Rays down here, but they suck really badly. Since the Yankees also train down here, can I still be a Yankees fan?
Spring training only, my friend. And to me, you're a Devil Rays fan.
He's got to go Rays.
Yeah.
You have a team. Feel blessed. Ship the Devil Rays to Vegas and let's get it over with.
Did you? Yeah, I have no problem with getting rid of the Devil Rays. That whole thing. What are they going to do with that stadium, though, Fez?
That'll turn into a giant flea market type warehouse where every Saturday they have it.
What's the problem with that franchise? What goes on down there in Tampa? You've had it for how long now? 10 years?
It's got to be, yeah, at least 10 years.
And I don't have one friend that I know with season tickets. Nobody cares.
No, it's just empty. And it was packed when it started, and just years and years of no winning record. It's not a fun experience. I agree with what you say about the dank and dirty dome that they play in.
Well, first of all, and you go over there, the Yankees spring training, phenomenal. It is the best way to see a baseball game, bar none. These places all down in the South, you've got these little, and they would basically be minor league fields, but you're seeing major league ball players. It's such a great environment. And through the roof. Then that same place goes and builds a big, ugly dome that makes no sense at all.
And they thought that would be a plus because of the bad weather in Florida. We'll be able to have it. We'll be inside when it's hot. We'll be inside when it rains, and it's just gross.
The point is this: you don't need a team. You do not need a baseball team. You have spring training that's 6 great weeks a year. Why isn't that enough for you? Why do you got to act like we're a real city? That's what I hate about some of these places. They don't like sports. They think it makes them look better to the rest of the country. I would love to live in a place that didn't have a team. It would be fine with me. That's not why I pick places to live.
Get a lot more sleep. Just overall health would definitely improve if I have to pull for the fucking Nets. Jesus Christ.
You'd be in better shape.
You know what? You'd probably start reading or painting.
It's too much shit on my plate. Yankees, Notre Dame, Giants, Nets. It's like I need a break.
I know. You are committing to about 320, 325 games a year. It's too much.
It feels burdensome.
Well, that's why I won't get caught up with Fez on fucking on the Notre Dame games. Then I do nothing on the weekends but watch football if I do that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's too much. There's too much life to be lived.
I never see a movie during football season. I rarely get out to see a film that I even want to see.
And you don't enjoy football, if you don't mind me saying. You bitch, complain, and ache over these teams.
I live and die with these teams. Mostly die.
You die. I pointed this out the other day when he won. He's still screaming on his dad that they weren't winning before they won. And I hear him on the other line trying to fucking calm his dad down because his dad just had the greatest experience ever.
Yeah. You are the king of cold water.
Yeah, you are.
I can enjoy myself. I just want wins.
It may be why you had that heart attack.
My cold water is half empty.
You're one of those your ass is half full kind of people. That's your problem. You were telling me about a Paranoid song. What do you got there? What's it about?
It's around his he said it was more about his relationship with Cherrynoid. There's like little subtle hints to it. I mean, but it's a real... I mean, Perry's like one of those mad geniuses with the songs now, because this is like a real production. This is a really good song.
This is something he did at his house?
Yeah, something in the...
So it's not about, Dave fucking Jelly. It's just a real song.
Yeah, this is like a straight-up kind of a...
I'm always trying to tell the radio people to listen to Perry Moy. He's doing the... What is it, CosmicCircus.com?
TheCosmicCircus.com.
TheCosmicCircus.com. Go check it out because he's really a talented guy and he does a lot of bizarre stuff. We ought to just, sometime pull an hour out of our weekend best of and just play the Cosmic Circus. Why don't you call him and see if he'd be into that, Earl?
Yeah, I can definitely make that call.
Because he should be on a bigger stage. People should be, hearing some of his weird stuff. All right, what's the name of this song?
Better Places.
All right, let's give it a play. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
Someone else is hanging on to someone else who can't let go. Someone else is finding out what you already know. Someone else is searching. Someone else wants to be fucking someone else. Someone else. Someone else. Someone else. Someone else. Someone else. Someone else said something that someone else don't remember. Someone else felt nothing on the 31st day of December. Someone else said hello when someone else said goodbye.
Ron and Fez, XM 202.
Yeah, it's the Ron and Fez show. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. The birthday day today, Fezzy, our buddy Bri, having a big birthday.
Happy birthday, Bri. He's a big guy. You may have to cut his leg to check the rings on how old he actually is today.
All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. You know, Fez, if you weren't doing a radio show, you could host some kind of insurance convention with gags like that. And that Bri, he's a big guy. All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Now, I was watching this thing on TV the other day about food allergies. I don't know what it was like for you, but when I was a kid, I don't remember all the food allergies. And then by the time I had kids, when the schools would have so many restrictions on peanuts, chocolates, that I don't think that you can make cookies anymore and send them to school that have peanuts in them at all. They can't even be in the same room as some of these kids because the kids' allergies are so bad.
Yeah, now we got allergies and deadly allergies.
Do you remember this when you were a kid? Like, did anyone have a peanut problem?
I never remember anyone having a peanut problem.
Earl, with you?
I never met with peanuts. I remember like strawberries or something like that. But outside of that, never.
All right, Dave, you're the youngest one here. Were you part of the I've got kids in my class that can't eat peanuts?
Yeah, there was a kid, Steven, who was allergic to peanuts in my class.
Now, even in the last 20 years, it's 4 times bigger than it was 20 years ago. That's how many new kids are getting allergies. And like you said, deadly allergies, where these kids are going to school, their mom's got to worry that if somehow they get a Snicker bar, their kid's going to end up in a hospital or worse. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's such a delicate allergy that it's like any sort of pan that was used to bake like peanut butter cookies in couldn't be used to cook chocolate chip cookies in because it's still got any sort of peanut residue in it.
Even the factories. The factories can no longer make the same stuff in the same part of the factory. They have to have a different factory for one or the other. Now, this is a theory that the doctors are coming up with. It's not fact yet. But you know what they think that it is? It's hygiene.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, where does hygiene come into play? You would think nowadays people would be cleaner.
Exactly. That is the problem. We are mutating from too much hygiene, where people are just too much soap, shampoos, so our bodies don't know how to fight things off the way they used to. We used to grow up on farms, or we were hunters, we were outside. Now, because of the fact that people are staying so clean, their bodies do not know how to fight things off as well as they used to, and they're having these kids who are weaker in fighting things off than everyone else, and we're mutating to the point where these little kids' bodies are confused about what some of these things are and are taking it as they're bad things, as they're outside of what should be in the body.
Does it also factor in that kids really don't go out as much as they used to? Like, we used to play in the dirt and do all these types of things. And
well, it's not only the kids, but those kids' parents didn't do as much either. So each year, each generation down, and again, this is just theory, but it's really getting worse because we're acting like we're not Earthlings anymore, that we are no longer part of the planet Earth.
Where an alien shows up here and catches a cold, like in War of the Worlds or something.
Paul, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, hey guys. You know, remember it was like when you'd be in elementary school, like second grade, third grade, and there's always that odd kid that moved away in the middle of the year. I was wondering if they just really didn't die from one of these allergies and they didn't want to tell us.
Well, now you're, I think, getting a little paranoid. You're worrying too much. Tommy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, yeah, my daughter's allergic to tree nuts, not peanuts. When she was 3, I used to eat a lot of pistachios, and I gave her one day, and her tongue swelled up, her face swelled up, she couldn't talk, she couldn't breathe. Scared the shit out of me.
It's got to be the most frightening thing. Now, when we were working at JFK with the sales ladies there, I remember they're all standing around talking. Had to be 5 or 6 women. Each one of them were talking about their fear as if these kids get a nut. It would range from, some of them, it was kind of bad too. Literally, if the kid got a nut, he could die. And I don't know whether any of these kids are going to, grow out of it or whatever, but it's very, very strange. Here is Alan. Alan, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, Ronnie. I was wondering if you proposed, do we need to start putting food, dirt into the food, or how do you propose to introduce these allergies?
Any kind of homeopathic allergies, and even the shots and all that we would get at kids, is that they would give you a little bit of the problem. You know what I mean? Like when you would get a polio shot, you would get a small dose of polio that your body could then fight off, know how to fight off, and then become stronger. So maybe the fact that we're not around or we act like hygiene is so damn important that we're putting ourselves at risk.
We must be just taking off layers of immunity with every bottle of Perel.
Murray, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Buddies.
Yeah.
I got a 2.5-year-old little boy, and we made a point to let our dogs around him as much as possible when he was born because they stay outside during the day and, just kind of subject him to pollen and things like that, the other allergens that are out there. Not to hurt him or anything, but just to kind of make it so he wasn't in such a clean room environment at all times.
Right. And it is really, it is like Earl said. Earl used to live in the dirt. I was the same way. I was always going in. My mom was always checking my hair for ticks every time I would come home. You never check a kid's head for ticks. You don't let them go out and run the way we were younger. For whatever reason, we're so fucking afraid of the world. Some bad man's going to grab the kids. It's such a long shot that any of that stuff happens that we're turning the whole country into these really weak children. It's weird when you think about it. Here's Leslie. Leslie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
I was thinking that perhaps it also has something to do with the fact that we are shoving fast food and prepackaged food down our kids' faces and, with all of those additives and pesticides and preservatives and they didn't have that a long time ago, and it just seems like they could have already had these allergies, and now they're laying dormant, and now that their immune systems are so bad, they're actually, surfacing.
It's very, very odd that we talk about this, too, because I had read a thing before that they think that little girls are getting their periods earlier and they're getting breast earlier because of the steroids and chickens and stuff like that.
And the milk, and
What the fuck are we doing to our little girls? We're mutating them. You know what I'm saying? We're poisoning
bottles in babies, infants' mouths that have, hormones from cows and bacteria. It's sick. And then we wonder why they're just growing up and have double D's in 6th grade.
Absolutely.
Seems obvious to me. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something really, really sick about that. I'll tell you something else that's very strange. If you see what an apple looks like now in the supermarket, and it's this really large red apple, and when you bite into it, because it looks great, there's not a lot of taste there. There's a little farmer's market that comes in on Saturdays in my neighborhood, just sets up in one of the schoolyards. And a lot of it comes from local farms and it's organically grown. And you go there and you're like, fuck, I haven't seen fruit that looked like this since I was little. I'm thinking this, right? Because the apples are little and hard. They look nothing like what we think an apple looks like. They are imperfect. They have seeds. They have bruises on them. They're fucking apples. They're not some manufactured wax fruit. Fruit isn't supposed to be big and fluffy and perfect.
Like my parents, they refuse to buy supermarket fruit and everything. My father knows a couple of guys that sell fruit literally right off the truck. He's like, yeah, this is watermelon.
Found it.
Watermelon, apples, oranges. He refuses to buy supermarket food for that very reason. He believes something was done to this fruit before we
It absolutely is. Because if you look at like a sun-kissed orange, right? Not to point them out, but it's this really big, fat orange. Go down into Florida, see what an orange looks like on the tree. They're much smaller, they're harder, they're brown and bruised. It's all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't normally get. But the point is, that's what a natural grown piece of fruit looks like. It doesn't look like the shit that we're buying now. And I was also reading, like in my little local neighborhood paper, that these supermarkets are complaining because these little green markets are stealing business away. But the point is, there's people who want to go out and buy shit that isn't filled with chemicals. They really they want something fresh and local.
If it was available every day in the grocery market, people would buy it there.
I don't know. I really don't know, because I think there's a certain mentality of people that goes and buys stuff at the grocery market. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain mentality of, we get into the same shit all the time. I'm talking about movies where people just watch the movies that are given to them over and over. By the way, Mike from Brooklyn wants to come in on Friday.
Okay, that's cool.
He's the one who called me a movie snob because, I don't know, I didn't think Spider-Man was the greatest film. But he's going to bring us some pastries from Brooklyn. Remember he brought us those when we were in D.C., Fez?
Those were great.
I ate a pastry so good I started crying. I literally started crying, and I wrote a letter to my grandmother.
Frosting that's like a stick of butter.
Yeah. Here's Jeff. Jeff, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a neighbor moved into my street next door to me. He's on welfare. And he moved in 6 years ago, and since he's moved in, he's had 5 kids. And I'm not exaggerating about this. He doesn't let these kids out of the house ever. I mean, ever. To the point where my wife called social services on the guy, and they reamed us a new asshole. Because they get a right to choose the way they want to raise their kids. These kids never see the light of day ever.
But that's not uncommon now. And, when I had my kids and, like, other parents would call about getting a play date together, and you had to fake this gimmick like, yeah, I'd love to get the kids. My dad had no idea who my friends were. I remember my dad, his only line about my friends was, you're not talking to those punks on the fucking street corner now. He would not be able to make that man stand there and watch me play with someone when I was 5 or 6. It would have been fucking senseless in his world. And yet now we make our kids stay in. We don't let them go out. And it's the weirdest thing. It's because it shows up on TV. When a kid gets snatched in Oregon, people in Georgia are watching this story, so they make their kids stay in. And they go, oh, it's dangerous nowadays. I got news for you. Kids have always gotten snatched on the other side of the country. It happened when you were a kid, when your parents were a kid. Every once in a while, a kid gets snatched. It's like every once in a while, a shark bites someone or someone drowns in the ocean. Every summer, people are going to drown in the ocean. Does that mean you never go in the ocean again?
No, you got to go in the ocean. We have to.
Here's, we do?
Yeah, we got to get the fish and everything.
I'm talking about swimming. I'm not talking about deep sea fishing. I'm talking about you've got to take some kind of chances in life. Bruce, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, Ron. Me and my wife got a daughter. My best friend and his wife got a son. We're about 3 or 4 months apart on these 2 kids. I let my daughter go out and get into shit, go places. If she's got a little sniffle, go to school, you're fine. She gets over a cold in a fucking day. His kid, every fucking week, he's sick, he's got to go to the doctor. He's got an earache, he's got to go to the doctor. He can't go to the babysitter, he's sick. He can't go to the babysitter because your kid's sick. He can't go to school because your kid's sick.
And you know what? Here's one of the other things.
30 fucking times a month, this kid is fucking sick. My kid's sick, twice, 3 times a year over in a day.
And then here's the other weird thing. What does the doctor give you?
Fucking antibiotics.
Antibiotics, which makes your body weaker in the long fucking haul. Then it's harder and harder to fight off things. And I know people go on antibiotics anytime they get a cold. And they just want to, blow that cold out. But at the same time, what else are you fucking knocking out of your system?
Now they're up to the super antibiotics, where it's that 1 week pack, where instead of 20 days of antibiotics, you're supposed to take one pill every day, gone in a week.
Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I just think this whole thing about being too clean as a society and that stuff, that's all horseshit. I mean, my wife grew up on a farm. I grew up playing outdoors all the time. When our kid was 5 months old, he had his first allergic reaction to milk. It doesn't make any sense to me. What was he supposed to do, crawl around in the dirt or something?
No, it would basically be about your genes, probably, you and your wife. And again, and who knows why any of these things are happening. But maybe it's because of the kind of milk that we drank growing up. And I mean, we were probably the first generation, anything post, 1960, to have all that shit in the milk. Before that, and maybe you could even go back 20 years. Before that, they were basically all but drinking the milk straight out of the cow. And if you even think about it, what the fuck are we doing drinking cow's milk to begin with?
Well, it's so delicious.
But it doesn't make any sense for us. That's not our mother. Our mother is not a cow. And now if you look at it, it seems like humans are looking more and more like cows every single year.
That would be weird if we just, in your grocer's freezer, there was human milk there. That would be bizarre.
But it would actually make more sense. But instead of getting it from your grocer's freezer, Fez, as you say, you should get it from your mother up until the age that you no longer need milk, which is probably 3 or 4. And after that, you're not really supposed to have milk for the rest of your life. You don't need it. Mike the teacher wants to teach us why there's more allergies out there. What do you say, Mike?
Hey, guys, I just wanted to reiterate that War of the Worlds concept. That's what really drives home the point. The reason we're here is because we survived for hundreds of thousands and millions of years of this onslaught of all the bacteria and viruses that the Earth has thrown at us. And for some reason, our species, Homo sapiens, has survived. But in the last century, like that lady said, we have changed utterly what we put in our bodies. Even in the last 50 years, like you said, Ron, people think antibiotics are a good thing. They're a double-edged sword. They do kill the bad bacteria and viruses, but they kill all the good stuff, too. Plus antibacterial soaps, these antimicrobial things. Something is fucking up some small part of the immune system so that these little, very specific allergies are getting in. I don't know what it is. Like I said, it's amazing that we don't all get sick all the time. We're bathed in each other's germs all the time. These amazing immune systems that we've built up over all these centuries is what's so amazing. I don't know what the cause of this is. And like you said, all the food that we're eating today has been genetically altered in some small way. Even those oranges in the fields have been bred a little bit for the best viability and weather and things like that. And we have things like seedless oranges now because of genetically altered foods.
Yeah, it is bizarre. And then we think that's not going to alter our genes. The fact that we're putting these mutated foods into our body and then acting like somehow we're separate from it. It's very odd. Thanks, Mike. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Hey, D, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, I just wanted to know what you think. I think it's because we have too much news on TV nowadays. When I was a kid, we had the morning news, then 5 o'clock news, 11 o'clock news. Now I can turn on CNN and watch it 24 hours a day, and there's not that much news out there. They make stuff up. They have the little...
It does seem in the post-cable world.
Right after 9/11, it got even worse.
But yeah, and O&A have done that bit of how the news just tries to scare the shit out of you, making you afraid of Chinese restaurants. And I mean, really, O&A, when they do that, they're just playing the actual thing. You don't have, it's not, Anthony doing funny voices. You just play this stuff, and it shows you how bizarre. Now, there has to be something about us. You have to take responsibility if you're going to watch it, that you want to hear all these bad things.
Well, I don't watch the news. I watch when something's going on, but I think it's ridiculous. It just makes you worry about things that you can't change most of the time. There's nothing you can even do about it.
Yeah, and, it has never been a safe fucking planet. It never has been, it never will be.
You're not going to live forever. They think they're going to live forever. You're going to die. You're not going to leave here alive.
Yeah. All right, thanks,
Everybody
honey.
thinks-
No,
All right,
I
thank
just
you.
saw you wince, Fez. You get scared?
Yeah, you're not going to get out of here alive. I don't think it means I shouldn't try.
Yeah, but you're not going to make it. No one lives forever. Here's Scott. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron. How early on a Saturday morning, or even when you got home from school, did your mother or father come and say, "Get your ass outside and don't come home until the streetlights come on"?
Well, for me, I just wanted to be, this whole thing about doing everything with the family, that was not my way. When I was a kid, I wanted to be out fucking where I could curse. I wanted to be where I could smoke with my friends. I can't imagine the way that this generation of kids are comfortable around. I saw, that's like, you ever see neighborhood kids will be like this. Hi, Ron. They will fucking talk to you like you're their age. I was always like Mr. Whoever, and as the shortest conversation I could have with an adult to get away from them.
The last thing you wanted when you were that age was to hang around with the adults. You wanted to go outside with your friends, get into trouble.
I didn't want any interaction with adults.
And what was better than, when you got into trouble and watching your friend get his ass beat by his parents at the end of the day?
And then here's the other thing, too. Remember what you said when your mom and dad said, "What'd you do today?" Nothing. You would be gone for 12 hours. You're lighting shit on fire. You're fucking breaking into things. You're busting windows. You get home. Nothing. You didn't share shit with these people. It was like the whole time that you were in your house, it felt like a Nazi prison camp. All you wanted to do was be away where you could be yourself again.
Hey, the last place I wanted to be on a Saturday was home. I mean, it was like the second the sun was up, it'd be like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, it's like, where are you going? I'm like,
I know.
Out.
You would wake up on a dead run when you were a little kid. Now, I feel sorry for these kids. They got nowhere to go. They absolutely.
I should have been born in this generation because I was never much of an outside kid growing up.
It could be a Category 5 hurricane outside, and, it would still...
I know, finally. Remember like this, too? Your dad would stand up front and whistle like you were a fucking dog because he didn't know where you were.
And you pretended you didn't hear it?
Absolutely, you pretended you didn't hear it. But see, the weird thing about this, when's the last time you were driving down the street and you saw a Sandlot baseball game? They just don't exist. I see playgrounds with hoops up, no kids playing.
There's this tremendous, I think it's Roy Wilkins Park near my parents. They have these two beautiful, but they're going to rot because no one ever plays on them. These two beautiful Sandlot fields. I'm like, if that was me back when I was a kid, I was like, I would be there all day. I mean, you knew, my parents wouldn't know where I was. I was playing ball, and even if it rained, we're out there swinging around in the mud.
I don't know, we got ourselves so fucking scared nowadays. We're just petrified. Something's going to happen. Someone's going to grab us. Some terrible thing is coming. Remember that bird flu thing they tried to sell for us for 3 years? Never went anywhere.
That'll probably come back around again, where it's on its way.
Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Yeah.
Hey, I was just calling to reiterate your fact about cow's milk. The general idea for cow's milk is just to turn, a 50-pound calf into a, 1,500-pound bull.
Right.
So, I mean, just to reiterate what you were saying, people in this country are now starting to look more and more like cows.
Yeah, it is very, very bizarre that we're so addicted to that cow's milk. It's not even our species. Everybody thinks it's crazy when Dave got his balls licked by a cow, Fez, but you're drinking something out of a cow's tit every day. I mean, a dog licked his balls. I don't think you ever did anything with a calf, did you?
No, never with a cow.
Look at me, Jamcock. Did you do it?
No.
Okay. But, isn't it bizarre when you think about it, Fez?
To go ahead and just mingle with another species like that.
Mingle? Forget mingle. You're sucking something out of its tit.
Yeah, and these are the same people who get weirded out when they see a woman breastfeeding in public or doing something like that. It's like, that's the natural order of things.
That doesn't bother you at all?
No, not at all.
Me neither. I don't find it sexual. It doesn't pull my attention. Fez freaks out.
Yeah, it bothers me. I don't like to see it.
If we eat animals, though, why shouldn't we drink them as well? I look at it as a both way. What?
It's a good point. It is a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the milk is a different type of nourishment. We have our own milk. We have human milk.
But I don't think that breast milk from a woman from a
So
human...
you're saying we eat animals, why can't they lick our balls, is your point. That's where you're going with this.
That seems like a leap.
Yeah. And the problem that we're doing is we're no longer eating wild animals. We're not eating deer. We're not eating, buffalo, stuff that we kill. We're eating these fucking cows that have been jammed full of chemicals, steroids, on and on. It goes. It's a fucking crazy society we live in.
I mean, on the Dave's logic, it's like if you like steak, that means you drink the blood from the steak too. No, you don't.
I like mine rare. I'm not gonna lie to you, Earl. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't one of these overdone guys. Speaking of which, we got any bloody steaks back there?
No, we're fresh out.
Fresh. Starving.
That means someone just ate the last one. Who was it?
What was that headline that was just up there, Fez?
All I saw was breaking news, and then it went away.
Said House Speaker after that. Check out the news for me in there, would you, Earl?
Yes.
Because Brian Williams is on MSNBC. That's unusual.
So something must be going on if he's been hauled into work early.
Just pot it up, Fez. Let's try to give it a listen.
Let me see. I need it fixed over there.
None of this works? Never mind it. Hey, Garbage Man, you're on Ron and Fez. Garbage Man. Now this one isn't working?
But there is a bit of good news for the Republicans. It
The
looks
phone
like
should be
Arnold
working.
Schwarzenegger is going to coast into a second term as governor. He comes to the State House by way of Hollywood.
Well, this
a
isn't
town
what
that
we're
believes
talking
in
about. This
makeover.
isn't the
Yeah, that's
story.
just Governor Schwarzenegger.
Here's Glenn. Glenn, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy boys. DIC 129.
Face.
The dick holders, it's slow but unimpressive.
My daughter's 10, and she's already starting to get breasts, and she's been complaining of cramps. But her school, other parents that kids she goes to school with, they're horrified that I won't get her a flu shot. I won't get one for myself. I won't get one for her. It's terrible for you.
I never get the flu shots. Do you, Fez?
I stay away from the flu shots. I got people in my family that get them.
Yeah.
Every year they get the flu.
I know people that really believe in the flu shots. I never get them. I don't know. I never know which way to go with that. Earl, what about you?
Never get it. I mean, remember we were at WNEW, they always gave the free flu shot.
Yeah.
Never got it. Everyone that got the flu shot, out 2 weeks with the flu. Always.
And you feel the same way as Fez, like you can back that one up.
Yeah, I could definitely. If I get the flu, I get the flu, but I'd rather fight
I'm
it
going to
off
knock
alone.
on wood. It's been a while since I've been sick like that. But.
I am not going to take one extra shot that I don't have to.
Tom, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
I was just going to bring up the fact of, back when I was a child and going to school, I'm 35 years old, you might have one kid in your class or that might have asthma today. It's like, half the kids in your class have asthma, and I think it's because of the big fucking hole we got in the ozone layer.
I don't know what the problem is with that. Is you think there's more people with asthma now, Fez? Is that
yeah, I think so.
A fact? Earl, you backing this one up?
Yeah, I know, like, New York City has, like, one of the highest asthma rates, particularly, like, in the Bronx and, I want to say parts of Queens, too. They think it has something to do with the environment.
I saw this for New York City. This woman, I guess she came there, and there's a thing against aluminum bats now. A woman's son got killed because of aluminum bats, because you can hit harder with aluminum bat, and this kid was pitching. It's a terrible story. It's a sad story, and so now there's people on the council that want to do, aluminum bats, get rid of them, and, force the teams to play with baseball bats. So then the guy from... I don't know what he does for the city, but I guess he's like the athletic director for the entire city. He goes through, we got over 1,000 schools and this many players. We've used aluminum bats for 30 years. Never had one problem. And I do think that this kid probably got hit with a line shot off this aluminum bat that killed him, and it was a terrible thing. But just because it happens once doesn't mean that that's the norm now, I don't know. Did you use aluminum bats, Earl?
Yeah, we always used aluminum.
We did in Little League. I don't think you were allowed in high school ball. I'm not sure about that.
No, we used wood oddly enough, we used wood in Little League.
Is that right?
We used wood in Little League.
We could use either. And by the time we got to play like teen ball, I think you could use either by the end. But the problem is the kids just saw those bats in half. it's so much more expensive to use bats. Because I remember our Little League coach, we are down to 3 bats because you will not learn how to do it. Where are you on this one, though, Fez?
I think get rid of the aluminum bats. Yeah, if it's a danger, get rid of them.
Well, I mean, here it was the guy who ran it, 30 years, New York City. You got, I don't know how many kids you think are playing organized ball in New York City. Earl, you're looking at 30,000 or so?
Yeah, thousands, tens of thousands of kids.
And in 30 years, not a single problem. Now, there was one that this woman from Montana who got on the plane to go there. But that one thing would be enough to have you change?
Yeah, because it's not like getting rid of aluminum bats. It's not like you're banning kids from playing baseball or getting rid of bats altogether. Kids are still going to get to play. They're still going to get to bat. It's just going to be with wooden ones, which if they move up to high school, they're going to have to get rid of anyway.
No, this is high school that they're talking about.
Oh, okay.
High school level. If you go to pros, you're not going to be able to use it. Pitsy, where are you on this one?
I think aluminum's fine. I think the pitcher just needs to get out of the way. That's all.
Yeah, apparently it was just a shot hit back at him. But again, if you're going safety, Fez, you're better off not using a baseball. You're better off having the kids play with something safer than a baseball, than horsehide.
Well, it also makes you wonder, too, like, even if it was hit with a wooden bat and this kid still got hit, would he have been hurt as bad?
Well, it would probably come off the bat. It's going to come off the bat harder when it's hit with aluminum. So he had to be hitting the right shot on his head, but at a certain velocity as well.
My senior year of high school, they changed the bat legality. It used to be 5 ounces difference, and then it was 3, so you didn't swing as quick. And it would be try to be safer for the pitcher. But, I mean, there's going to be shots up the middle no matter what. So
absolutely,
you just have to be agile and try to get out of the way or block your face.
Yeah, and it's and I felt bad for the woman there, but at a certain point too, you're not going to be able to go back to wooden bats unless suddenly, you're going to add so much money to play these sports as it already is. It's very, very expensive to keep a team stocked in aluminum bats anymore.
Yeah, even players today, even as much money as they're making, they get upset when they break a bat because you're only, I believe, allotted a certain X amount of bats per year or something.
And you have favorite bats. Man, when some fucking kid would break your bat, I'd want to kill that bastard. It used to drive me nuts. And I was obsessive about the grain. I was obsessive about keeping the grain there. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Not much, I just don't understand why people are so afraid of everything nowadays.
Fezzy?
Like, it just seems that everybody, like, something bad happens and they automatically got to shut it off. It's like if the first car was built, when cars were being built in the early 1900s, first time they got into an accident, they didn't say, stop the presses, we got to stop making cars.
My thing is, and not a healthy thing, but I know just in my personal life, if I pick up one phobia, it's going to lead to more.
Right, but we're not talking about phobias. We're talking about fear of life. When I grew up, all the dads worked in factories. Those fathers always risked being killed or losing a limb at work. It was a natural thing. That exists today, but not in this country. Since we've moved the factories away, you don't have them anymore. But it's very rare for anyone that to go to work and think, you have to be extra careful because you can get killed here.
I think that fearful people are probably in the majority. I think it's something that you really can't do anything about. They kind of feed on their own fear, and that they're always going to be the more vocal people, the fearful ones.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know if people are any more fearful now.
But I mean, they're definitely more fearful now. And we're into this thing of, if you own a bar in New York City, you can't let your patrons smoke because people are afraid of secondhand smoke. For as far as I know, it hasn't even been proven that they'll get killed. You're already in a bar. You're fucking hammering your liver, you idiot. What are you worried about now? Why can't you go out and act like a fucking guy in a bar? Why do you got to be a big crybaby about everything?
See, that's the thing. The fearful people are the loudest. The people that want to keep smoking in bars, I guess they're just not heard from.
Well, it's hard to sit there and defend your vices. You know, it's hard to get a pro-porn thing going. You know, even though people are into pornography, you're not going to fucking go out like the anti-porn people with "I want my fucking beef shots." You know, it's the same thing. Reason why we haven't got pot legalized, because the people who smoke pot, they don't want to go out in the street and fucking wave a banner, legalize pot. So you're right. It's the little crybabies that do everything to everybody.
Yeah, they're the loudest, but more often than not, they're always the least affected. I mean, I could see this if it was someone who got it. Let's say if with the smoking, secondhand smoke. It's like, wait, I didn't smoke. It was like, well, it came from secondhand smoking. Do you hang out in bars? Then I could see if they're loud and vocal. But more often than not, it's people who don't smoke or are least affected that are ones that are championing this change.
Yeah, I see a lot of people out when I'm out 3 o'clock in the morning that aren't offended by a lot of things. Why can't you have a after 2 o'clock smoke all you want rule, you crybabies? Here's Jason. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
See, I just wanted to weigh in on the helmet situation on the aluminum bats versus wooden bats. Why don't you have everybody wear a John Olerud hat in the infield?
You want to do that, Fez? Put the helmets on the kids?
I wouldn't mind it. I got no problem with it.
So all the kids are wearing helmets and kind of a face mask over it, kind of plexiglass, so they'll be safe?
If it's not affecting their play.
Why would it affect their play? You can see through plexiglass. Why don't we do this? We wrap a mattress around every kid. Anytime a kid's leaving the house, you wrap a mattress around them, and then you wheel him down the street. Let him look around. Move his head back and forth. Josh, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ron, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
What I think about the baseball shit, I mean, basically kids are getting pushed by their parents harder. They're throwing faster than they were 30 years ago. So 30 years ago, it might not have made a difference if they were hitting with an aluminum bat. Nowadays, they're trying to keep up with the pros that they're idolizing, and their parents are pushing them.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre thing, too. It's a very good point you came up with, that when we were kids, there was no real training that you had to go through. They have these camps now to send. There's no way we'd have been able to go to these camps.
You're like, sports medicine? What is that?
Yeah,
like,
I know. There was no such thing.
I used to play ball with guys, like we were playing CYO.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm going to have my protein bars and this. And I'm like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to have a hot dog and go to bed. I mean, it didn't occur to me.
I remember when the CYO leagues, you always knew the shot because the ceiling was so low and some of those places it wasn't a real gym that you just had to shoot fucking bricks just like a laser shot because you'd have a 10-foot basket and like a 12-foot ceiling. There was no fucking rainbow arc there. Jay, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, bubbies?
Yeah.
Hey, one thing for you. When I was a kid and we learned to play baseball, we had safety gear to keep a ball from hitting us. It was called a fucking glove. Learn to catch, you idiots. It's not that difficult.
What do you think of that, Fez? We give every fielder a glove, and then when the ball's coming his way, instead of stopping it with his head to be safe, he gets his fucking hand up in front of it.
I would be in favor. Jay, hold on. You're getting a DVD copy of The Breakup, starring Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. That's courtesy of Universal Studios Home Entertainment, and it's in stores now.
Hey, Jeremy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy boys.
Yeah, buddy.
I wanted to ask Fez if he's ever going to say no to somebody's insane behavior. First it's the shrimp, and then the Rosa Parks. He's ready to side with her, and now the aluminum bats. Are you ever going to say no?
What was the shrimp one? I don't remember.
The shrimp and the pasta. The seafood pasta.
Oh, right, yeah. What was Rosa Parks? If I was for her, I think I should be.
The Rosa Parks thing, and the Cracker Barrel?
Your Cracker Barrel thing.
Oh, Rose Rock.
Yeah.
But see, his point is this, Fez.
Yeah, Rosa Rock.
You said you get tired of this minority, the vocal minority, but every single time it comes up, you're ready to go with the vocal minority.
Yeah, I got to check into that. Well, I think Cracker Barrel, I think I was right in that one. Cracker Barrel should serve black people.
No! First of all, that wasn't the fucking thing, that they didn't serve black people. What happened? Yes, then they would be in huge trouble, Fez, and they should be. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. No, this woman went into Cracker Barrel. She said an hour went by and she didn't get served.
Right.
Personally. But does that necessarily mean that they're anti-black?
Oh, they seat black people. They just don't serve them, according to Rose Rock.
Earl went to Cracker Barrel, and I think he ate.
His party was 75% white.
More like 85. I was the only black guy. I was the only black guy in the place.
Oh, that happens a lot of places you go.
I was in Knoxville.
Let's go to David Burke's. It ain't going to fucking look like the Harlem Globetrotters are hanging out there either.
Plus, I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, which was...
Boy, you know what I loved about the shrimp story? Fez has given me a ton of shrimp. David Burke comes in here. Fuck those people. Some shrimp cost me $3 a piece. I look over at Fez. Bum, 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 bum. He's just moving his papers around, acting like he never said any of these things.
Well, that was David Burke.
You're afraid of David Burke, my friend. Chad, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was saying, if the aluminum bat, ball bounces off and bounces the kid in the chest, what happens if a wooden bat breaks? These kids are throwing, in high school, throwing up to 90 miles an hour now. The wooden bat breaks and hits him in the chest. I mean, it's a freak thing that happens.
Fez would like us to hit with pillows.
Oh, you're not going to get any distance there.
Who cares about distance? We're not keeping score anyway. All the kids should be having fun.
No, my thing with aluminum bats is if you get rid of aluminum bats, what does it really change about the game? I mean, the kids are still getting to use bats. They're still playing baseball.
Right. The point is this, most of the time, is that these teams don't have a lot of money, and 1 or 2 aluminum bats, 3, 4 tops, take the place of 30 or 40 wooden bats. And most of the time, the wooden bats are more expensive now. And I know you're a tree hugger, Fez. You want to preserve the trees, don't you?
Sure.
Well, you want every little league to have 25 wooden bats instead of 1 aluminum bat?
We may need a softer aluminum if there's a nice compromise there. An aluminum that works more like wood.
Let's take a break. Ron and Fez Show.
Ron Bennington, Fez Watley, The Ron and Fez Show. XM 202.
Fez Show. Happy birthday, Bri. You the man.
Happy birthday, Bri. Ronnie, you wouldn't believe what happens to me yesterday getting ready to get on the subway. I go down the subway station. I see Gladbag down there.
Gladbag is still around after all these years.
All these years later, Gladbag is still there.
All right, let me set this up for people who never heard the story before. When Fez and I first came to New York like 6 years ago, when you're first in New York, you see some homeless people. You're trying to figure out who do you give money to, who do you not, which one's an angle, which one's a gimmick. We're walking down the street in the snow, and it's nighttime, right? And it's freezing snow, wind, everything. Approaching us is a naked woman, only wearing a Glad bag, a fucking trash bag around her, and she's shivering and staggering towards us, and she's like, help me, and we're like, yes, we will help you. We're unloading our wallets like a couple of fucking rubes, thinking, oh my God, this woman, she's been raped, her clothes have been taken away, we've helped her. We see her 2 weeks later. She's still in a goddamn Glad bag. In 2 weeks, she can't come up with a pair of pants and a tube top. After this, as the year goes by, we must see her 60, 70 times, always working the Glad bag angle. Then one time we see her on the weekend when she was off work and she's got a fucking boombox. She's smoking crack. She's just having the time of her life.
A Tommy Hilfiger jacket.
One of the best angles in the history of homeless panhandling.
So I see Gladbag, and she's on the payphone down there on the subway platform.
She's always at the same subway, though, right? It's always the same stop. These homeless, they live at certain places.
So I hear her screaming on the payphone at somebody. I can't understand a word she's saying. She's screaming so loud you can't understand her anyway. I turn, I'm like, all right, there's Gladbag. I turn and walk away. I look back because she's still screaming minutes later. I look back. She's laid out on the subway platform, on the floor. She has pulled her clothes off. She's 9 months pregnant and going into labor. So there is naked Gladbag on the subway platform screaming, help me, because she's ready to give birth. I'm witnessing a crack baby birth at this point.
Wow.
So people are gathering around. I go to get the station agent. I go back upstairs. I go to the station agent's office. Nowhere to be found. They're completely off duty. No agent at this station. So I run upstairs, even up to the street level, to use my cell phone, because it won't work down there. I call 911, like I'm always ready to do. So I'm explaining there's a woman in labor, she's screaming, she's naked, and they're like, she's naked? Why? Why is she naked? And I'm thinking, I should have left that part out of it to the 911 operator. So I get back down there, now people are gathered around her. I go down there, and I'm like, the 911 lady said, don't give her any water or food. You know, I'm trying to...
Who's going to have a sandwich when they're in labor?
And I'm thinking, no one gives her water or food anyway. On a daily basis.
Unless crack happens to be food.
So she's down there, she is screaming. Finally the cops show up. 2 cops, no paramedics yet. 2 cops. They're trying to scatter everyone away from her. Mm-hmm. And they're like, could we please give this woman some dignity?
How many people do you think were gathering around?
There was a good 10 people around her at that point.
Okay.
One hippie guy holding her hand.
Give her some dignity. She works an angle with the tourist wearing a fucking glad bag in a blizzard.
And she is just bare naked because she has torn her own clothes off that she was wearing. So then the police officer says, does anyone have any rubber gloves? He's asking around in the crowd. And I'm wondering why the police officers don't have rubber gloves. Well, I think to myself, Ronnie, wait a minute, the O&A show, they keep those rubber latex gloves around for whatever reason. So,
you know the reasons. Sick bastards.
So I come running back here to XM, and I grab Earl to help me.
Why wouldn't you just call Earl?
You know what? That's a good idea. I never thought of that.
You were running away from danger. You scattered.
So I'm like, Earl, find the rubber gloves. We're gathering up Ron and Fez XM T-shirts and newspapers. Anything that you might need for a birth of a crackhead baby in a subway.
Because Butterfly McQueen comes screaming 2 blocks away and 5 stories up.
So we gather up all this stuff. We get down there, and she's gone. The paramedics had taken her away. I thought I was going to be able to show up with those rubber gloves for the police officer and really have something for him.
So there was a story, but you left it.
Yeah. Well, I tried to help. I left to help twice.
Yes. When you're leaving, you're not helping. Well, let's hope she had a beautiful little baby. And just a tiny little glad bag that she could be wearing. Jay, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez. Yeah, you had said something earlier, Ron, about there must be a whole city of them down there. I used to work for the Transit Authority a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I was a flagman. And if you walk the tracks from on the F line from 2nd Avenue to East Broadway, it was like Grand Central down there. Or the Bowery on the J line, it was nothing but wall-to-wall homeless just strolling all up and down the tracks. You wouldn't believe it.
Mole people, they call them, people that live underground.
Yeah, exactly. They had places to live. They had running water that they used. In one of the little unused rooms down there, I saw some bunk beds and furniture.
Wow.
I mean, it was incredible.
Very organized.
Yeah.
Well, it's nothing you'd want to sleep on, Fez. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that junkyard furniture is nothing that seems like it's even livable.
I had never been that close to a lady in labor before, to a woman in labor. That was freaky.
Well, you did the right thing. You ran as far as away and as high as you could go, acting like you were busy.
I was trying to find stuff to help.
Your opportunity was right there. Push, breathe. Too bad for her she didn't get a hero. Hey, Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
Fezzy, I'm ashamed at you, buddy.
Why?
The hero could have been you now instead of Ron, but no.
It could have been you.
Blew it.
You
blew it.
I think I made all the right decisions.
Baby.
First of all, I said to you, why didn't you call Earl? he could have been here half as fast, and you would have had that shit.
Oh, my chest was hurting, too, running up and down the sidewalks and the steps.
Your chest was hurting because you saw you were in need at one place, you went the other.
Yeah, I mean, Fez was really flush, and he was like, I mean, he just came in back here like a bat out of hell, and he was, we need gloves. I'm like, what happened? He's like, there's a woman, like a crackhead, giving birth. I'm like, where? And he's like, it's in the subway station.
He didn't believe me.
No, my first thought was glad bag lady, because I see her every night.
You know that an ambulance is going to be there to cart that woman away before you and your T-shirt and your latex gloves make any difference at all.
It was taking so long to begin with, just for the police officers to show up.
Don't you learn anything from me? Couldn't you have used this opportunity to be a hero?
What should I have done?
Gave birth to that baby. A little nappy-headed crack baby would have been yours.
That thing would have been so jittery, I would have dropped it right there on the concrete floor.
Bingo, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Fezzy, naked woman, run away. Obviously, the natural instincts kicked in.
You know, the funny thing is that he tells this story like he has a story to tell. And then Earl's saying to me today, did you hear what happened with Fez? I go, no, I'm going to let him tell me on the air because my chick told me he had a good story. So I was sitting here waiting to hear the story. A story starts to happen. He leaves it.
It's still a good story.
I hope. I don't know what exactly happened.
It would have been a better story if I could have gotten those rubber gloves down there faster.
That story doesn't make any sense. The rubber gloves part.
They needed supplies.
What is it, Dave? What's the panic going on in that room?
No, because he keeps badgering me. He's like, tell the story. Tell the story. I'm like,
get the fuck in here and leave him alone. I see a fight break out over there. What isn't Earl telling me?
I can't call 911 again.
I want to keep it about Fez, but that is just total insanity, Earl. No, Earl calls me and goes, Dave, you gotta get down to help Fez. Get down to the subway station. Fez is delivering a baby. I'm like, he's fucking what?
When did that happen?
I have no idea. I was downstairs eating a sandwich.
What kind?
Roast beef.
Got any more?
No, I ate it all yesterday.
Fucking starving. How was it?
I was not so good, Ronnie.
Oh, good.
You know what? That's a good point, though, Dave, because when I finally gathered up the supplies that were necessary, rubber gloves, Ron and Fez T-shirts, newspapers.
Was this 15 minutes after the ambulance had left?
It was some point after the ambulance had left. But I went running back into the subway to get those things to the police officer, and Earl refused to follow me down into the subway.
He probably didn't believe the story.
No, because I said, let me call Dave so we can get more stuff, but I couldn't. If I were to call Dave while we're in the subway, the phone wouldn't work, so I had to stay at the edge of the subway tracks, the subway station, to make the call.
By that time, the woman was already in the hospital.
I just sit there eating a sandwich, being like, I'm not listening to any of these two insane people. I'm just going to eat this roast beef sandwich.
No, there's no reason for you to give up that. What kind of bread?
Just a regular Italian, it was like a hero type style.
Any hoagie rolls in there, Earl?
No, we're out of hoagie rolls.
You know what I'd like to do? I mean, we got a lot of room here. I'd like to put up a bakery.
Nice little, was that a kiln?
I think that's for pottery.
Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys. 1352 checking in.
Yeah, buddy.
Why did he do all that running around? Why didn't they just use the payphone right there on the wall?
Because Fez Whatley panicked, left a great story, and that's what we got. I saw something wonderful, and I took off.
Well, I went to alert the station agent because I figured they would be able to get someone there faster.
Why do you need anyone, Fez? You could have been a hero.
I can't deliver a crack baby.
My initial words were, shh, quiet, I've got this. I don't want to sound, I'm going to deliver this baby Scientology style. In total silence. There'd be a little nappy-headed baby named Ronnie B somewhere today. Sucking crack off its mama's teeth.
If I see her back in that subway today, working again.
Fezzy, why? Why did you panic?
I did everything I possibly could.
Chris, you're on Fez.
Fezzy, you could have been a hero just for Monday.
Anyway, listen, he was the station agent. He's that midget guy. You just got to look a little over the counter. He's there.
Where did you go? Looking for a midget?
I wasn't looking for Peter Dinklage.
Is that your name for your penis?
No. I wish. Wish I had thought of it first.
Big Log, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Fez, is that the first time you've seen a woman naked?
No, it was. It was the first time I saw a woman in labor. And I figured we were going to start seeing some crowning any second.
They don't start in crown black chicks have babies faster, don't they, Earl?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I asked Earl's mom, I go, what was the delivery like with Earl? She says, it was like spitting out a watermelon seed. That's how fast it came.
I was an easy birth.
Yeah.
That's because you're bald. No friction.
Fezzy, I really wish you would have stayed and we could have had a great story for the air.
I still think it's a great story. I watched a crackhead go into labor.
And then ran. That's the problem. There's all kinds of excitement that took place.
Ran from danger or ran to help?
You don't run away to help. Unless you're fucking Lassie. Lassie runs away because it's not a smart enough species to do the work itself. You had the opportunity to do a Scientology birth.
And why call Earl? He can't do anything.
I came up here to look for the rubber gloves, and Earl was the only one still here. You had gone home for the day.
No, I was just downstairs getting my after-show sandwich.
You were 9 to 5 in it.
Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, 287-253. I wanted to ask Dave if he's sure it was a roast beef sandwich or was it a peanut butter and dick jelly sandwich?
No, please.
Do you have a fucking PD and Jay?
No. This was roast beef, baby, oil and vin. But, hey, the interesting thing about going downstairs, I saw a mouse downstairs. And I just sat there and kept eating and didn't alert anyone or the other customers.
We haven't gone back to a certain burger joint because Fezzy saw a tiny field mouse.
I can't go back in there, and I've thought about it. I've passed that place and thought, all right, has enough time passed? Is there
and they have a great burger, great breakfast there. I feel like because you share with us, Earl and Dave and I have been back there like 12 times.
What?
Times that we wanted to eat there when we told you we were going home.
Yeah.
We have met around the corner, and then we've all gone down together.
Yeah.
Well, you could at least tell me.
Well, you won't go there and eat. And then you'll try to get us to one of your bad places.
You're no fun anyway. No offense, but it's always the salad. And this is a burger joint.
Yeah, that's true.
But they did have nice, healthy options on their menu that I like to have.
Yeah, rat shit and lettuce was wonderful for you. Damn, I wish you would have stayed and had a story, Fez.
I do have a story. I told it.
You know what you could have been today?
What?
Half the show. You could have been a partner today. Mike, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, by the time Fez and Earl got back to the subway, the kid was receiving his first communion.
No kidding. That's exactly. How long did it take for these two to fucking run? And Earl, I don't even blame you, because if Fez would have called you, said grab the gloves and the T-shirts and get here as quick as I could have, at least half the time would have been gone.
I would have still had to gone up the stairs for the cell phone to work.
Then you ran up the street into a building, caught the fucking elevator, and came down all the way down the hall. That had to add at least half your time.
And if you met Earl up here, why didn't Earl follow him down? Why did he have to make this bizarre, frantic phone call to me?
Could you imagine how much Earl wanted this out of his apartment? This craziness. He must have fucking felt like he was in Pulp Fiction, and suddenly John Travolta shows up screaming.
Earl would not go down the stairs into the crackhead hole.
By this time, everyone was already gone. It was just a normal subway.
Oh, yeah, because Earl then calls me back just 5 minutes later. Hey, Dave, no bother to go down to the subway. Everyone's gone. Everyone's there. And I'm like, all right, I'll just keep eating my sandwich, I guess.
You had your dick in your roast beef sandwich and just sitting there quietly?
All that was left there was a stained piece of old newspaper that they had put her on.
Well, anyway, it was almost a good story, Fez.
I still think it's a good story, and I stand by my actions.
It's the beginning of it's a good story. You saw a woman, crackhead particularly, giving birth, and then you ran away from her. That's where it gets to, Well, then why am I still listening to you?
I shouldn't have been, but I was amazed at how many people were just walking past her the first time when she first hit the floor. Just not wanting anything to do with the situation.
Well, what did you think you've done more or less?
I did more. I called for help.
Help! 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 How do you know it was another glad bag gimmick, though?
If suddenly everybody was missing a wallet, she would be the queen.
In her fake pregnancy stomach.
Well, goddamn, it was almost a good story. It was almost interesting and amusing.
Astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, he has filed for divorce.
I call him the Hawk.
He's filed for a divorce from his second wife amid reports that Hawking may have been having an affair.
Yeah, he was.
That's for sure?
That's a definite, yeah. Some woman he had met. He has a gimmick now where he somehow tapes a dildo to his forehead, and then he hits in, reverse with that chair, back and forward, reverse, forward, reverse. Chicks are crazy about Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, I mean, the wife that he's divorcing, he was having an affair with her.
Then she should have known. She should have known that was his way.
It's amazing Stephen Hawking gets so many women. You would think she would hear him leaving the house.
But this is what bothers me about women. And I'd say this right to Lily's face. Stephen Hawking, he can't move his body.
Right.
Can't talk. Still finds a way to become the smartest human on the planet. And you won't let him get some side pussy? You got a fucking problem with him having a little enjoyment in his life? Well, if anyone deserves two chicks, it's Stephen Hawking.
I think this is the second wife that he's divorcing. I think this is the one that was accused of, roughing him up like a year ago.
How hard is that? I'd fucking take his ass down so quick you didn't know what happened to him.
Now we know what the fights were about. Why she was trying to break his brittle little arms. The rumor is that ABC is interested in signing Jay Leno once his NBC contract is up in 2009. That makes you wonder if is Leno going to go away like Carson did?
Well, he would have been, 20 years younger than Carson was at the time?
Yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, Leno is stepping down way younger than most people would step down. Letterman just re-signed his deal.
Yeah, I think Letterman's deal takes him to the same length as Leno, to 2009.
But Regis has got to be, 20 years younger than Jay?
Oh, yeah. He's Regis probably 75.
So, I mean, the point here is, yes, would ABC like that deal? Of course they would. It's the smartest thing that they could do. But does that mean Leno will go for it? I don't know. What's your feeling, Dave?
I think he's going to go for it because I think I have my own conspiracy theory that I believe he is not voluntarily leaving in 2009. That NBC knows Conan's on fire and they need to get him in, and so they kind of
Conan was going to leave and probably go to ABC before. So they said, Conan, we want you to stay. They went back and talked to Jay. Jay said, I will quit by this time.
Right.
And when he even did that, everybody laughed and went, well, who said he's going to? Because, no contract is as simple as Fez just read off in 2 or 3 sentences. There's always outs and penalties in every single contract. But you're saying Conan's on fire.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's on fire at 11:30.
Right, but I don't see any other options. I think Conan he'll tame down his act a little bit.
Doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Look at Katie Couric. You couldn't be more successful as a morning show person. They move her to 6 o'clock at night. Nobody wants it. Dave Letterman, everybody always said for almost his entire career, does a better show than Johnny Carson did. But didn't get as big of become as big a star as Johnny Carson.
Well, that's true, but I think Conan is being a younger guy, he'll able to kick out the masturbating bear scene, for instance, and shit like that.
I'm going to tell you right now, most people are not willing to compromise as much as Jay Leno did. Jay Leno was a very funny stand-up comic at one time, and that drab vanilla show that he does now, he has to force himself to do that dog shit.
I mean, the idea of forcing Leno out, NBC pumped so much money, so much time, so much effort into making Jay a #1 show. Remember Stand Up for Jay when Letterman was kicking the shit out of him?
Yeah, but at some point they wanted to keep both of them, and they were going to lose Conan. There's no doubt about that. Conan was going to jump. So they had to make some kind of deal to kind of compromise everybody. Now, the point is Jay might have made that deal in 2003 or whenever he did. Does that mean that he's going to really feel the same way? It's too early to talk about now.
If you ever read that book, The Late Shift, I think this echoes the Carson thing, which is they knew that Johnny was going to leave, and they promised Jay he would be the successor and everything. I think this exact same deal. But as time went on, Johnny, I think, started to get bitter about leaving, and he might have had 1 or 2 years left in him.
Well, yes and no. But I think Jay is way younger than Carson was at the time.
Jay's way younger and I think more successful. How many months in a row has that show been #1?
Nobody's more successful. Nobody will be as successful as Johnny Carson was. Johnny Carson there wasn't a #2 for 30 fucking years during Johnny Carson. The closest they came is the black guy who had some kind of 18-year-old thing.
Oh, Arsenio?
And that all burned itself out. So, I don't know. Fezzi, where are you on this one?
I was surprised when Jay signed that deal, that he would leave in 2009. I was surprised. I thought he would be Carson's age or older by the time they took him out. And I think if an ABC deal comes along and he's left NBC, I think he totally takes it.
I think he's a company guy. And if anything, this is to use the leverage to stay with NBC. Because, again, if he jumps over, doesn't necessarily mean he'll be as successful.
So you think he's going to come back after 2009?
I think there's a good chance of that,
Wow.
yeah. Because you haven't seen the contract.
Right.
Maybe there's $1 million penalty on one way or the other. And who knows, the guys that had the contract signed may not be there in 2009.
But, Mr. B, he said, I will retire in 2009. I will resign 2009. Conan O'Brien will take my spot.
Yeah.
I don't see how it can get more black and white than that.
NBC says we want you to stay. And he stays.
Well, what's going to happen with Conan then?
Who gives a fuck? Then Conan would go to ABC like he should have years ago.
Yeah, and a lot of these contracts, they're probably loaded with all these incentives and ratings clauses. And
Absolutely. Every contract is like this. But everybody thinks because they see the word contract that it's ironclad. It rarely doesn't have outs.
Okay, so who do you think is the bigger star in NBC's eyes, Conan or Leno? Because I think NBC...
Leno.
It's got to be Leno. He's the sure thing.
I disagree.
And all you have to do is look at what their cum is.
But it's not Conan's fault that he isn't on at 11:30. I think from a prospect in Major League Baseball, Conan's the guy who's only 2 years, 3 years in the league. He's got the upside. I think Conan's
How long did they wait for Joe Montana? Right? And that's what it is right now. He's Joe Montana. I don't care about Steve Young until the time comes up. And I guarantee you that thing will have something. If you don't give the show to him in 2009, you owe him $5 or $10 million. That show brings in like $100 million a year. They might be glad to do it.
But remember also, Leno, while very, very successful, he does lose a week every so and often to David Letterman because of CSI, because
whatever. That's not the point. The point is, if you got something that works, it's the rare person who's going to say, I'm going to try something that might work better. It just doesn't fucking happen that way.
And Leno, it's almost like a mob mentality. Leno's a good earner. He's a good company guy. He's never trashed a company. He's been successful for a really long time. If in 2009, if the ratings
and he appeals to people who aren't on either coast. And the same people that like Conan like Letterman. It's the same act, basically. Conan is like he's Letterman's son. Will, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, man. No, I don't think Conan O'Brien's a damn bit funny, man. I think he's lame. I think NBC will be making that.
It really doesn't come down to who's funnier or who does a better show. It's what is easy sell for the advertisers. And right now, that's Jay Leno. That's the only fucking reason that he's out there. And Letterman's making a lot of money at number 2. Letterman's is making more money for himself every year than Leno is.
But the one thing is, what hurts all television networks is to be stagnant. And I think it's a smart move because for Leno to push him out.
All right, let's suppose Leno leaves there.
Yeah.
And goes to ABC. Now you got Conan and Brian against two established guys.
I think because of the buzz of NBC, Conan will win. Yes, I do.
That's crazy.
See, I don't.
And there's no one who would take that bet. You don't bet like that in the corporate world. That's a fucking gambler's bet.
But isn't TV built on, I guess, for lack of a better word, being stagnant? That's why you don't...
Absolutely.
You don't screw with a time slot with a hit show.
Exactly, just like radio.
When Letterman first went to CBS, he kicked the shit out of Jay Leno.
It wasn't Jay Leno's show. It was Johnny Carson's show at that time. Johnny Carson was the guy and Leno had to go and build that back up. But he didn't go up against the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. He went up against the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Big difference. Big difference.
1 in 5 I believe that...
what do you got?
I was just going to say, 1 in 5 Americans believe the United States is not winning the war, and only 1 in 5 believe that the U.S. is winning the war in Iraq, according to a poll. That number has dropped in half since December.
Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
29.75, my brothers.
Hey, buddy.
Hoo-ah! Dave, the only reason why you're even on Coney Inside is because he's a stupid-looking redhead just like you.
No, believe it or not, I don't watch it. I know everyone associates me with Coney and shit like that because of the red hair.
Nobody does. You're out of your fucking mind.
My grandma does. She watches Conan
and
tells
that's everybody
me.
Deal?
Well, she has a big voice in my head. But the thing is, I do understand how he can be funny and that he's younger.
Fatback, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, here goes Dave again being a dumb shit.
And let's face it, Conan's not that young anymore. I mean, he's in his 40s.
Right.
It's not like, he's going to be necessarily picking up that 18 to 34.
But that's appropriate age range for Tonight Show. You don't want a guy who's early 30s either.
Well, there was one. His name was Johnny Carson. People seem to love him. Go ahead, Fatback.
Yeah, they were grooming Letterman, or Letterman thought that he was going to replace Carson, and when Carson left, they put Leno in there. That's why he jumped ship. Dave doesn't know the hell he's talking about. That's why they were grooming him.
Don't call up saying obvious things, please.
I said that. I said the exact same thing.
Any human being and any citizen of the United States of America knows that. It's like a headache.
According to AskMen.com, George Clooney...
Ask Man?
Ask Man. AskMen.com. George Clooney has been named the #1 man's man.
For gay people?
No, I guess for any of their readers. So it seems like anytime there's someone that I may have a problem with in Hollywood, they find as many possible awards to stick on this person as possible.
Give me the top 10 people.
All right, we got the top 10 here.
Now, a man's man would be what? A guy that guys like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think some chicks have to like him, too. But guys have to like him more, too.
So Harrison Ford would be a man's man.
Right.
Women want to be with him. Guys want to be him.
Exactly. Because you can't say Danny DeVito's a man's man because chicks aren't, so much into him.
All right. What about Arnold Schwarzenegger? Would he be a man's man?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Fez.
All right. At number 10 was Bill Clinton. Man's man.
What year is this? Keep going.
Number 9, Jorge Perez. Number 8, David Beckham.
Beckham?
No. That is a girly man if I ever saw one.
He is all but a woman. The only thing that keeps him from being a woman is the ability to do a sport Americans don't like. What American is going to vote for David Beckham? It's not going to happen.
You might as well have Lance Bass up there. It's the same thing. They're both a boy band mentality.
I'm looking for Lance Bass. I don't see him. Number 7, Johnny Depp. That's because he played a pirate.
I have a strong feeling on this. I love him as an actor, not a man's man. And as much as I love him, it's probably the gay side of me that loves him and thinks he's too prissy to be a man's man.
Go ahead.
Number 6, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Bruckheimer? The guy who makes the worst fucking movies and TV shows known to man?
I don't even know what he looks like.
He's skinny, fucking long neck. His neck looks like a stack of dimes.
Who cares?
Number 5, Tom Ford.
Tom Ford is gay and makes women's clothes. Throw this fucking thing out. Why am I listening? Give me this.
No, that's mine.
Where do you get these news stories? Don, you're on the Ron Fez show. Tom Ford.
Yeah, Fezzy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Could you do that statistic again for the 1 out of 5 or 5 out of 1 or whatever it was?
Yeah, what was that stuff?
I totally destroyed that. Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
Is that your girlfriend?
No. My girlfriend's Dawn.
You say it the same exact way.
Only 1 in 5 Americans believes the U.S. is winning the war in Iraq. That's according to a new poll. Those numbers dropping since a little under a year ago.
Vietnam, too. That's my personal feeling.
Wouldn't it have to take place in Vietnam for it to be Vietnam 2?
Not necessarily. Sequels have different locations. Empire Strikes Back.
Frank, you're on Fez.
Ronnie.
He laughed at you, Fez. He felt like he won.
With the Empire Strikes Back.
When you look down and he got the final word, and then he just looked at you like, yeah? You want any more of this? You want any more of this?
I try not to think of Tatooine in the Iraqi war.
Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ronnie. It's Mike. All right. Ronnie, Fezzy, you redheaded asshole.
Hi, Frank.
What do you want, man?
Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay, never mind. Anyway, Dave, you almost had me liking you as a human being. You almost had me in about the first hour and a half of the show. The home run touchdown thing, I saw Ronnie was agreeing with you. You were almost there. Okay. Now you're a fucking idiot again.
What did he do wrong?
That's all I wanted to say.
What did he do wrong?
He's being a fucking idiot about the last, 10, 15 minutes. You were liking him, Ronnie.
No, agreeing with me is not what he has to do. He's a big Conan fan. Look, this is all I want from Dave. You come in here every once in a while, you help out, and you don't fuck any condiments. He has done that today. I got to give him everything.
We'll take bets in 2009, and Eastside's going to prevail. Davey Mack on top.
Pete, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, it's Pete. You know, all those manly men you just talked about, they all wear beauty cream in the morning. What's that about?
I just don't know where this list comes from or how it ends up on this show. I know that there's lists made out there, but no one takes them serious except for the Ron and Fez show. And then we want to debate these stupid things. Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Fezzy, who's number 1 on that list? Richard fucking Simmons?
It's George Clooney.
Marty, you're on Ron and Fez.
Faith. Yeah, you don't mess with it. You don't mess with a hit show, right? You don't mess with a hit show time slot.
Yeah.
Then why did NEW play you guys all over the day?
Because they know we don't give a shit about career stuff. I could have less interest in my own life if I didn't know me. It would be exactly the same as if I lived in China, as if I was me, how much I care about the Ron and Fez show.
Jeez. That seems a little much. It's too far.
Do you think if I cared even slightly about the quality of this show, you would fucking be in here?
I'm starting to see your point now.
Or I'd hear this. 1 out of 5 out of 5 out of 1 out of 1 out of 5 have a 5 and a 1. You don't think that we would have meetings about such things after the show and go over it and see how we could improve?
Yeah, now I'm starting to get it.
F-Troop. Just fucking love it. You get a check every week?
Yeah.
Run with it. That's what I do.
I do. I love to run, to be.
You honestly think I care about our career?
I would think so.
Really?
But now that you've broken it down into the
I would
nuts and
never
bolts
stop
of it.
screaming.
Yeah.
If I cared what this show sounded like, A, I would go through life humiliated, and B, I would become a workaholic trying to fix it. It's so broke.
Oh, boy.
Earl is the executive producer. That no one who cares about his career is going to go, yes, I will accept Earl as the executive producer.
But I care. I'm a good EP most of the time.
What do you want? You honestly think that you do a good job? If you could step away, Earl, and say who would be the best person for that show, would you still pick yourself?
No.
None of us would. That's the beauty of this. We know we're fuck-ups. We don't care about quality.
The father of the African baby that Madonna wants to adopt says now he never wanted to give up his son permanently and was confused by the word adoption.
The only thing I have less interest in our show is the Madonna story, which I tell you guys every day after the show. To show that we don't fucking care. How much yesterday did I yell, I don't care about Madonna?
A lot.
And does it come up every fucking day?
Yeah, that's...
Every day.
I find it to be an interesting little story here. The guy clearly didn't know what was going on. He thought adoption meant she could take him for his childhood years, educate him, and return him, not be his permanent mother.
Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what's up, Ronnie and Fezzy? Unfortunately, you didn't let Fez read number 5 down to number 2. It's those 4 guys from the Queer Eye from the Straight Guy.
Is this a gay list? Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, yeah, it's Matt from New Mexico. Earl, you rock. Fez, did you get this list from the Logo Network? What's going on, buddy?
This was from AskMen.com.
AskMen.com is a fucking gay troop. Remember, boys, we're all ass men here.
It was a legitimate website. I saw it.
So I want you to give me your opinion again on this Madonna thing that I asked never to get on the show.
Okay, well, I personally think that she...
Fuck it. What exactly was said? Now, I want your body to have a little more give because it can't hit the table.
Yeah.
It can't hit the table.
I know. I can't help where it ricochets to. Oh, boy, I don't like this new Mars rule.
You're going to have to deal with it.
Here's Rick. Rick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Yeah.
Big-ass dick holder 103.
There he is.
Face.
The jelly dicks are out there, the big
All
red.
right.
That's your third today.
Hey, I know the solution to all you guys' problems. For your producing problems, the answer's paranoid. See ya.
I would love to. I'd love to bring Perry in. I want to give him an hour this week. Have you talked to him yet, Earl?
Yes, but I left him a message, and he emailed me just as the show was starting. I sent him an email back, and we're going to talk after the show.
What do you have for the show?
So you got that all taken care of?
Yeah.
Here's Dan. Dan, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you? How you doing, Dan?
Hey, yeah, Ron, man. You were loving Earl yesterday for being Mr. Perfect. Now you hate him, man. What's the deal?
No. Don't take... First of all, Earl's the best thing that ever happened to me. He has picked 4 weeks in a row. What happened is somebody who tried to say, you guys are giving us show business rules. Why don't you live your own life that way? Okay. And I simply explained, Fez and I don't care about our careers. There's nothing that we've ever done from a marketing or career aspect that made sense or was correct.
How about the Ron Fez stress ball, the official stress ball of the Ron Fez listener?
Which is mocking any kind of swag. Anything that we do mocks what anyone with the slightest bit of interest would do.
Oh. I think they're very sharp looking.
You work here, Dave.
Yeah.
There's not another fucking radio. I'll give you an example. Look how many people have left this show and have nowhere to go. Billy's still sitting in his fucking garage 4 years later. You know why?
No.
He never should have been on a radio show to begin with. You're going to be the same way.
I had a slight resume before I got here.
Wonder Boy left. There's nowhere for him to go in radio. That other fucking guy, nowhere for him to go to radio. Brad, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing today?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, Fez.
Yes.
That top 10 list, what magazine did you say you got that from?
AskMen.com.
It sounds more like don'taskdon'ttellmen.com.
Well, you went a long way to set them up, but you did have a line.
It was a good try.
Yeah. Well, it actually worked. It's just that when we all see you setting up the fucking cards before you knocked them down, we're not overly shocked.
He probably needed to do that without my setup to it, without asking me. Foxy Brown didn't show up for court a second time because she had to have some teeth pulled. If she doesn't show up today in court, she will be sentenced to jail for 1 year.
I have no idea who she is.
Rap star.
Oh, she's big. She's big in the hood.
This is gonna fucking shock you, Dave. I'm not big on what's happening in the hood.
Well, she is one of the main recording artists, I think, for Bad Boy, Earl. She, P. Diddy's label.
Yeah, she was, I think, I always get her mixed up with Lil' Kim, but she was always part of that raunchy female rapper.
All right, give me a little Foxy Brown. Maybe I'll be familiar. Play me her big hit.
Yo, Fox and Shaw, yo. Don't let that pretty shit fool you, yo. I ain't pay that bitch phone bill.
Oh, she's fantastic.
This is for all my ballin' ass bitches all over, worldwide. Shake them thighs for them pies. For all my niggas on.
Now, what's your name? Bitches Without Problems?
That's right.
Oh, it's Foxy Brown. This is called Baylor Bitch.
Wall a bitch, my niggas never call a bitch. We all be rich.
So short, what you mean?
I bet I be a poor girl's dream more money than she ever seen.
This is for all the cats, all the cats. They want a bitch.
Well, she's amazing.
The hell with that.
So Fox, what you mean?
Find her very desirable.
Your show prep, I find undesirable right now. I got news for you. The fact that Fez is reading Foxy Brown stories makes me want to start punching.
Yeah.
Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to see Eastside at a wedding this weekend, and I'm thinking that since he doesn't want Westside to know a lot of his extracurricular activities, that I might be able to make him my bitch for the weekend, get me drinks and everything.
Sure. Would you be willing to do that?
Well, how do I know this guy is real? Is this Karen's brother?
Karen and Walter's wedding.
All right, now how much do you know about Eastside?
Well, let's see. I'm thinking of maybe sitting at the table and maybe letting out a few barks here and there.
Oh,
and,
Brian.
Roof.
Please don't do this.
Why don't you just become his bitch for the weekend?
What does being your bitch entail, Brian?
Getting fucked in the ass.
Well, take a few drinks here and there, maybe run around, get me some stuff,
I would imagine peanut butter on his dick.
I'm a little fearful of this. I'll do what I have to. I'll do what I have to, Brian, but, let's not get carried away here. This is my brother's wedding, after all.
Yeah,
well,
but you're living a lie, and you've been busted.
Oh, so I am.
Yeah, I think I got the upper hand, my friend.
You need something from the big-ass prize closet?
What are you to send people?
Look,
what are you to send people?
You need something, Brian? I'm talking about a little... I hit a thing of Scarface, Brian.
What are you fucking... You better not have a Scarface, because I didn't get one.
Let me just say, I might have hidden something, Brian.
You get to take one thing out of there for him, and that's it. What a pussy you are that you have to live your life this way. It must feel awful.
I'm so glad I hid that Scarface.
If I found out it's a fucking Scarface, I'm seriously punching you in the throat. And hard.
Hide it, Pitts.
Hopefully Brian will get drunk at your brother's wedding and get to make a fabulous toast.
I'm starving, Earl. We got any toast?
We're out of toast, and Dave took home the jelly.
Thank Christ. I will never eat jelly in this building. Knowing this fucker's around. Jam fucker.
I got Turtle's peanut butter and Fez's Welch's grape jelly. So, I love getting free condiments, man.
How could you eat your own dick jelly yesterday, by the way?
I feel like I got pretty much the main dick jelly part of it out of the jar.
Yes.
So now it's right.
That was only about a half inch at the top. Not so bad once you get past the dick part, huh?
No, it's right in the fridge.
World Series doing pretty good in the Nielsen ratings. Sunday night's World Series, those ratings came in and beat everything up until the 10 o'clock hour, I think, on the networks.
Maybe it's because they didn't throw Sunday Night Football at them. The pricks.
Yeah, no Sunday Night Football. They went and did Football Night in America, the pregame show. They did a pregame with no game.
I was wondering, did NFL have an agreement with Major League Baseball for that?
You tell me, my friend. Or is it between the two networks? But that was a very odd situation. When you're a network, aren't you trying to beat the other network?
Yeah.
Why are you sitting there laying down for each other? Now, you know that meant, okay, when you guys are running the Super Bowl, we won't run the Titanic against you. Some kind of shit like that.
But NBC doesn't have, any real sports, so I'm surprised that they just, this is our...
Well, they do.
Sport?
Every network picks up their 1 year of having the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
So Maybe, and they also have the Olympics. They must have been some kind of a back deal that you take care of us here and we're going to take care of you later. But for us, the home viewer, that's not what we're looking for. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez, how you doing?
Yeah.
Just got to call out both you boys, Dave and Earl. Foxy Brown was never on Bad Boy with P. Diddy. She was on Def Jam.
Oh. See?
Name me one song by her. Even the one you heard, Dave.
Yeah.
Even the one we played.
There's some song, Licky Time, or something. I'm being serious.
But you're telling me she's gigantic. That's why Fez is reading off the stupid fucking news about her.
She's a big star. I mean, that guy knew what label she was on, like Licky something.
All right, but which show is it? The Licky Show, or is it the Ron and Fez Show?
It is the Ron and Fez Show.
What were Fez and I supposed to talk about after he read that?
Well, I was wondering, how come there aren't any huge female rap superstars? You know, I thought that would be a...
Missy Elliott?
Queen Latifah?
Little Kim?
But bigger than that, like...
Oh, bigger than that.
Like if you think about a big rap star, Eminem... He can conquer the world.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. How come there aren't really big heavy metal stars?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
The thing is, it's almost like it's so male-oriented. You know what I mean? It's only really interesting to other males.
And I guess it's difficult music to cross over. Like rock can cross over to country.
That part I don't even understand.
Sure, Bon Jovi is big on the country charts.
I understand that Elton John is making a rap record. So this could be the first big woman superstar for you to get into.
Yeah, he wants to make a record with Dr. Dre.
Jack, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Fezzy, I was wondering if you was going to give the rest of your list from Mantown.
It's the AskMenTown.com list.
Roger, you're on Ron and Fez. Yeah, go ahead, Roger. Well, let me try again. Go ahead, Roger.
Hey, I'm sorry, Earl, I missed the name of that song. I was watching last night's Base Bail highlights, and I think you might have dropped the bail on that one.
Well, the song was called, I meant to say Baller Bitch. It says on the data here, Baylor Bitch, but it's obviously Baller Bitch.
Obviously.
I think Bail would have worked.
Okay, Foxy Brown.
And Missy Elliott's about as big as you can get right now.
I always saw her as crunk, not rap.
Yeah, but you're not going to put Missy Elliott up against Eminem, right? It's not that close.
No, but as far as selling like millions of records, I mean, nobody sells millions of records anymore. It's just because of downloading and everything. But she's still doing very, very well.
Eminem sold millions of records. And I heard Snoop Dogg's last album sold 2 million records.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look it up, Dave. Come back in here with facts tomorrow. Maybe this is your opportunity to beat Earl.
Okay.
The new game show, 1 vs. 100, that has been picked up for a full season. More episodes ordered for the new Bob Saget game show.
I didn't see one episode.
But you still put those in.
Yeah.
For us to talk about. Yeah, here's something for you. Ratings of a fucking game show. Earl, even though I think Dave had a very good show today, you win. You know why? I still remember that college bet from the other day.
Thank you, Ron.
And I love it. Just curious, where did you want Fez and I to run with that story?
The game show?
Yeah.
That's a great game show you used to watch when you were a kid. I know mine was...
I'm going to give you the 3.
I know
I'm going to
mine...
let you run. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
He couldn't get away.
That's the end of my show. Donk.
Soon it'll be filled with parking cars. I watched it for a little while. I love to watch things on TV. Satellite of love. Satellite of love. Satellite of love. Satellite of... I've been told that you've been bold with Harry, Mark, and John. Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday to Thursday with Harry, Mark, and John. Satellites gone up to the skies. Things like that drive me out of my mind. I watched it for a little while. I love to watch things on TV. Satellite of love. Satellite of love. Satellite of love. Satellite of satellite of love. Satellite of love. Satellite of love.
Ron Bennington, Fez Wadley, The Ron and Fez Show. XM 202.